Oh, guys, we are so well back. Or are we? I don't know. I think it might be over. Josh.
Yeah,
It's
dude, it's
so
over.
Clover. Yeah.
It might be over. I don't know. This one kills me. Now, guys, if you guys are peasants listening to this, you guys are gonna hear the Well Book Club. We're kind of teasing you guys a little bit. We've covered in reverse order all of Michel Houellebecq's novels, meaning the only ones that we haven't touched yet, or the one we're currently touching on, is The Elementary Particles and Whatever. But we've covered every other part of that there, and that's on the premium feed. Go to rcnow.org. Check that out. That's also, you can do a sponsored episode platform there. If you want more Welbeck, I guess you can do a sponsored episode. I don't know what more can be said after we're done with all of this, but we'll surely find something. But let's do a quick roll call here before we get going. We've got Cody is here. Cody
Present.
is the resident RC film critic. He hasn't seen The Godfather. It's okay. We still have kept his job as RC film critic.
You know,
Um,
it's nice to savor a first
it
viewing. You
is. I
know,
wish I could watch it
it's
for the first time again.
like
Yeah, I wish I could watch it for the first time again. We've got Patrick's here. He's been on. Have you just been on Welbeck Clubs? No, you've
No,
done
I
something
did
else.
Salem's Lot
Say,
with
look, your favorite book. How could I forget?
yeah,
Of
my
course.
favorite
Of
book, Salem's
course. I
Lot.
forgot. That was your idea and your favorite book. Yeah, of course. We've got Matt Fresta, aka Ryan Simone, who
That's
said
right.
they got both. It's both
Yeah, we're
guys.
using AI to face swap today, so happy to
Yeah,
be here.
yeah. So they're on there. There's definitely some Zoom AI being used here, for sure. We've got Doug, the Flynn cell and the Welch Chad here. He was first. He had a cool like half background that was really nice. But Doug, how's it going?
Going great, man. We had a good day. Finished off by finishing this book, so
Yeah.
the chat is needed to recover.
Yes. And then
I don't
we've
know, this
got
is gonna recover anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Just being with you guys is enough.
Fair enough.
We've
Love
got
you, Doug.
we've got Andre who quote didn't mind the pissing.
No, that was the best part. It was a highlight.
I mean, to be fair, I there were many more things I didn't like about the book than I was
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
it's pee, guys, grow up.
Yeah, come on.
He didn't mind that. Banjo Jack coming off of it's a almost back. You're gonna have like back to back to back gain of fictions, which is kind of sick.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's on the Faulkner episode, and then now he's joining us for the Elementary Particles. I don't think you've missed a Welbeck chat.
Not so far. No, I don't think so.
Oh, wow, it's almost over. You're not going to miss him. Yeah, this is great. This is great. So guys, we were talking about probably his most famous novel, Michel Houellebecq's most famous novel, Atomized, aka The Elementary Particles. But we're in America. It's The Elementary Particles.
That's right.
It's not Atomized, though. That's
That's
probably
the
a more
copy I have.
yeah. That's probably a more appropriate title, though. Atomized.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the thesis of the book. This book. As soon as I picked it up, I was like, I realized why I put it down a couple years ago. But also the fact is I do love Michel Houellebecq. So I was like, there's still way more pockets of greatness in this that I wasn't able to see right off the bat. That being said, it is bleak. It is, I don't, do we call it nihilist? Do we say the N word? It's
I'll say it. I'll
yeah,
say the
I'll
N
say it.
word.
I'll say it. The hard T at the end. Yeah, it's definitely a nihilist book. It's mean. The knife is put into you, but a lot of times he takes the knife out and then just like shoots you in the head. This time he just lets you bleed out. And it's really really rough. Provide especially with Michelle's childhood girlfriend thing at the end is some of the saddest thing you'll ever read in a novel, in my opinion. I feel safe saying that, despite not having read every sad book in the world. But let's open up the discussion here. Let's start with Cody. You not a fan.
No, no. Last week I had like teetered on the edge of hating Welbeck. Not last week, last episode. Uh, this is the one where I went over the edge to where like I fucking hate this guy. I hate this book. Glad I read it, I guess, but um, the I have a lot of uh marginalia notes that were kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
Um, just as an example, I'll pull one up. Uh, Julie had become intolerable since meeting Deleuze at one of Benazaraf, fucking French names, dinner parties. She had taken to give him lengthy intellectual justifications of porn, for which I said many such cases. And that's the only joy I could find in this book was mocking the French bullshit.
There's a lot of French bullshit in here. Okay, so that's so far not the greatest. If you're thinking about picking this book up, that might actually get you to pick it up. To be quite honest,
Yeah,
what Cody just said.
If you're one of those freaks, like
If you're one of those freaks,
go off.
Patrick, you really like this book.
Okay, so first of all, let me say I appreciate Cody's honesty and
Yeah,
how
yeah.
real you are about this
Yeah.
shit. But okay, so I think that this is Houellebecq's masterpiece. Like
Okay.
it's the template for all of the subsequent ones. It's never really surpassed by any of those. It's the most raw one emotionally. There's not this sort of like ironic distance that you get in the books after this. And I think it's the only one that I've actually cried to like multiple times. I think its treatment of science is extremely RC coded.
It is.
And I guess finally, we always ask for Houellebecq to do a tranny book, and that's already here. It's this one. Like, this book is literally from the point of view of like the infinite transgender future.
Talk a little bit more about that. What do you mean?
The epilogue is
Yeah.
like the infinite.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole book is written from that perspective
Yes.
of the immortal trannies at the end
That's
of time.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a horror novel. Okay, but
Yes, it is.
It's a horror novel. No,
The Aryan trannies at the edge of the universe.
No, you're absolutely right. Like from that aspect, like you're just like the science view of it. I like that's what I mean. It's like I simultaneously hold like my hate and love for this is Michel and Bruno for this book. Like they are their own like sentient characters that have like split off from each other under a microscope under like a time lapse.
Yeah.
Like they are. So I'm in there. Matt Fresta, your thoughts?
Like I say, like every one of these episodes that I enjoy the book more on the second read.
Okay.
So this one was one, the first time I read it, I just like basically Cody's point of view, I was like, this is awful. I feel terrible having
So read it
this.
again, Cody. Just that's perfect.
Yeah.
Just read
Yeah,
it
yeah,
again.
exactly,
That's
yeah.
all you need to do. Yeah.
No,
First time is
thank
tragedy,
you.
second time is comedy. No, like the second time I thought it was a masterpiece. I was like, I actually got why people rate this one so
Yeah.
highly. I found it easier to get through because I guess I knew what was coming. Like it is bleak, but it's just kind of like that way where it's just like, yeah, let's just go down with the ship full hog, just make everything awful and I noticed, I guess, the more the philosophical and sort of ironic comedy aspects of it stuck out to me more, and I found it more enjoyable.
For sure. Andre, what are your thoughts?
I would say probably my least favorite now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bleak. Yeah, like unlike Matt, I kind of had the reverse where it's like on the second read, I was like Jesus, like and like that was kind of like my feeling on the first, but I kind of had more of an appreciation for it. Whereas this time, I was like, well, like you were saying, just like bleeding all over, like just like plunging the knife, bleeding all over, and then yeah.
Yeah, that's that's kind of how I feel. I mean, I'm gonna do a real power ranking of like the Houellebecq novels. I think I have this in the middle. I think I do. I have it in like the middle of it,
Do a
but
tier list.
I will do a tier list. I don't see. I don't do tier lists. I do the very Lindy 1 through 10 or however many novels it is. Like, because
Okay.
S tier. I still don't understand how S is like the top tier. I don't get it.
It's an action game thing.
Oh.
It's a whole thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that like the Japanese?
That,
I'd have
that
to-
explains
I'd
why
have to-
that
Yeah.
explains why I don't know what that
Very
is.
Devil
All right.
May Cry. That's what that
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, I've been
Super
playing
S.
Death Stranding, and like if you do a mission the best, you get like an S, and I'm always
Yeah.
like, what's the S?
I don't know
stand
what the
for?
S means.
So people are ranking like
That's worse than
Chick-fil-A,
that.
like
Super?
fast food chicken sandwiches because of Devil May Cry and Death Stranding. Yeah, like
Yes, Chad meme.
like busting with the boys. Will Compton guys are like, "What's your favorite chicken sandwich?" Yeah, like that's funny. That's interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Doug, let's hear it.
I don't know if it was my favorite in terms of enjoying to read. I do think it's his most important book. I mean, it's got the seeds to platform, submission, possibility of an island, all in there, and it's a red pill. It's a red pill for the condition of the West. It's a red pill for hating boomers and materialism.
Yeah.
And especially at the time that he wrote it, it was like 98, I think, 98, 99.
Yes.
He was one of the first to do it. So, yeah, I mean, you can't get around the tragedy of Michel and Bruno. It's absolutely, it's literally gut wrenching. When Annabelle dies, yeah, I was losing it just like Patrick, but it's a must read. You have to.
Yeah. No, it's just completely I think you're right. I like what you said there is planting the seeds for other books. I do like this kind of, at the risk of sounding like a guy who uses S tier, I think it's very much
Ouch.
like the universe.
Yeah.
The extended universe of just like, oh, there you
Yeah.
go, Possibility Island, which is still my favorite. I'm probably on an island, as that is my favorite Houellebecq book. A lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
I love that one. And I was like, wow, I get what, like, this is really nice. Like, just kind of like, what if elementary particles wasn't bleak? However, your only way out was infinite cloning yourself to a point where where you don't even feel the terror of.
Yeah, it definitely like rips off the Band-Aid. So like
Mhm.
everything else kind of feels like, you know, feels like joyous compared to it.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny, man, because like this is the most like discussed Welbeck book, and this is like, I feel like this is the first one people pick up, and I kind of like, do people pick up the rest of his catalog? Like after that, I feel like they don't. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
I
one guy
lent
does. I guess one
I
guy does.
I had a couple of extra copies of Platform and Atomized, and then a friend of mine who I know reads a lot. I was like, oh yeah, you should check out this Welbeck guy. But I'm like, don't read Atomized first. Read
Yeah,
Platform. And
I
then
would
he
agree.
just forgot what I told, and he read Atomized, and then I
Hmm.
don't think he's going to read any more Welbeck. And I was like, I told you, read Platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, platform's a
Yeah.
good one, a good way in. Platform's a good way.
Yeah.
I think submission's a wonderful start personally, because me that
Yeah.
reads quick, not
Yeah.
a lot of fat on it. I mean, if you're dipping your toes into like not being a libtard anymore, it's like that's going to be the book that really makes a great case for
Well,
that.
submission feels like it almost presents like a positive alternative, which
Agreed. Yeah, yeah.
elementary particles does not, which is why I don't like it. Ultimately,
Is the positive alternative reciting the Quran and becoming a professor?
no, that's why I said almost. It
Oh,
almost
almost.
presents
Yeah, yeah,
almost
yeah.
presents
That's
a
true.
positive alternative.
That's true. Yeah,
Atomized is like a Black Mirror episode or something. It's just like
Yeah.
this like bleak
yeah, yeah.
painting of the picture of the future that's entirely believable.
So this
Yeah.
is Welbeck with a septum ring at 28 years old, writing for
Yeah,
Netflix. Is
exactly.
what you guys are saying. Ryan Simone, what did you
Ryan
think?
Murphy presents Atomized.
Ryan Simone
That's
presents.
right.
That would
Ryan
slap.
Simone.
Yeah.
That would be great. Ryan Simone presents Atomized. What did you think?
Dude, I mean, it was like a buzzer beater, like won me at the end. But
Okay.
I had a very similar experience with Saline Journey, whatever.
Yeah,
Where like
the ending is the best part of that book. I agree.
yeah, like I love the beginning, the middle is just like, dude, okay. I
Correct.
get it, dude. You're fucking I get
Correct.
it. And then the end was like, oh, the tranny future,
Yeah.
it hits you with that.
The ending of Journey Through the End of the Night is so damn good to where you're like, thank God I didn't waste because that took me forever to read that book. Like it was just like, man, this is insane. And Welbeck talks about he doesn't even like Celine. It's like, is it a mirror? Is it because you don't like what you see in the mirror? It's
Yeah,
like,
no,
it's
totally.
like seeing a bad, like opening up your camera with a bad angle and seeing your face and going, what the fuck? I mean, like that. I feel like because it's kind of the same concept at times with this book, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'll say as I was reading it, it was like the least fun to read, but then
Yeah.
finishing it is like the one I probably thought about. I don't know, it. I thought about it the most after finishing it. I mean, I just finished it yesterday. We'll see. Maybe I'll forget about it tomorrow. But I went from this like on a spectrum from Cody to Patrick. I kind of experienced all that. Where it's like this sucks. This like French fucking pissy
Yeah.
nihilism,
Yeah.
and then like oh I get it. This is a masterpiece. But
Yeah.
it's an interesting one. I
It's
don't
pro-
know.
it,
I
yeah.
like the ending a lot. It made as much as like I was again just like Saline, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna pick up his next book,
Yeah.
and it's bigger and longer. But as soon as I finish it, I'm like, dude, I'll probably reread this one and read the next one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will say Celine's War the little short manuscript book that he had fucking rules. Like it's like it doesn't have any of that like sloggishness to it, and it's like absurdist, like weird wartime stuff. Like it's really, really good. We did Max Strax and I covered that one as well, and I think a
Yeah.
few people picked it up and they were like, "Hey man, this is actually like pretty damn good. Like it's not complete, but at the same time it is. Like it has an ending and stuff. So you're just like, okay, it ends. You know, like it's is it a it's not, and he saves himself with the page limit of like not finishing it. He saved himself from like the saline just soaking South Park goth kid kicking around a cigarette in a parking lot shit.
Yeah,
Like
that's exactly.
he saves
Yeah.
himself from that. So Banjo Jack, the banjo playing man who reads Welbeck.
Yeah, that's right.
One of one. One of are you? You've got to be the only guy that reads Welbeck and plays the banjo.
There's probably another one.
No,
Around.
no, I disagree. I don't think that's true.
No.
Yeah, I've done I have the numbers. I'm Michel Jerzinski right now, and I've done the research. This is my life's work. I found one guy, so I want to hear his opinion on this.
So on the note of reading this one first and then picking up the rest of the Welbeck, this was my first Welbeck, and I've read all the rest of them now. But I liked it a lot less on the second read. I've said this thing a few times before where I've said that this book is hilarious. I was wrong. I don't know what I was talking about.
It's got some moments. It's got some.
Yeah.
I chuckled a few times.
The Bruno sex camp stuff is some of the funniest shit I've ever read. Yeah.
And I think that's what I was remembering is like that particular like 20 or 30 pages is like, okay, all right, that's what makes it funny. But the rest of the book is like, whew, oh man, it's a monument to misery. It is it's bleak.
I
But
do
it's
like,
really-
I do. I'm sorry, real fast. Another thing I thought was really funny is the it's been a while since I finished the book. It's been a few weeks, so some of the character names are not quite in my head right now. But Michel's like the guy who works above him, like his like scientist friend.
Oh yeah.
The perverted
Yeah.
guy with the telescope looking at
Yep.
kids
Yeah.
changing on the beach. Like it's like what is it? A rear window.
Yep.
You know, like
Yeah.
like rear end window. Like he's just like he's just. I thought that guy was hilarious, and he's really
Good
sweet.
question
and
or
nice.
something
He's
like
really
that.
sweet and nice. He reminds me
Yeah.
of the gay guy at the end of Platform too. It's
Yeah.
like the same person. Like I tend to think like I really liked that guy. But Jack, go on. I cut you off.
No, it really is like, I mean, going back to what everybody else is saying is like, even the parts of it that are sloggy, like the weird article writing that he does,
Yes.
and, which is
Mhm.
really god awful. Don't like any of that.
Yeah.
But like you don't get any of the rest of it that is so good without this book. Like the seeds for everything right there.
Yeah.
And like it really is like the first 50 pages and the last 40 or 50 are like they save the whole book. Like the last 50 are like the epilogue when Annabelle and Christiane, like all that mess happens, is like it's beautiful, it's tragic,
Mhm.
it's extremely good. It's not easy to read, but it's great. Saves the whole book.
My problem with the epilogue is that I was done by the time I got to it. That's
too.
my problem with it. Is where I'm reading it and I'm like, this is like handmade for me. The end of this book is like, science is gay. Do not
Yes.
dedicate your life to science. If you do, you will find out that science is as brutal as nature with no rewards. You're gonna like it's manipulated. Your work will be bastardized. You know, like all of this stuff is gonna happen. But by that time, I was just like, I cannot wait to pick up the next book that I'm going to read. Now, that being said, I picked up a worse book afterwards, which sucked. It was a slump. It was, and again, two of my favorite all-time authors. I read their books that I thought were least good. It was Pynchon's Vineland sucks, and this, which does not, in my opinion, does not suck, but it's just like I had a lot more fun reading almost every other Welbeck novel.
There's like 160 pages of valley, and you have to climb that last 50 to get out of it. It's wild.
But it's just weird because like there's people that read this that like I feel like are sadder than me but haven't gone through anything at the same time. So I feel like they just read it and they're just like, it's just, oh my gosh. Oh, that's it, man. That's it. And it's like, your mom didn't leave you for a sex colony. Like, I don't get it. Like, you like, what are you like? Of course you like this. You know, like So let's talk about it, right? What's going on in this book? It is so we have two brothers whom they're like half brothers or something. Like they're not exactly from the same mom and dad. They only cross paths a few times as children. And you have Michel Jerzinski, the Polak, the half French Polak guy, who is his dad was a filmmaker, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, his dad
Sounds
was the
right. Yeah.
filmmaker. He immediately rejects everything about his raising that is not his grandmother. He's raised by a beautiful saint of a grandmother who does a good job of like trying not to be his mother. Like, do not be your mother. Your mother sucks ass. Your mother is awful, but also I'm not going to sit here and just bitch about your mother the entire time, which I think is like, I mean, sorry to anybody who's like divorced or anything listening to this, but like I didn't grow up divorced, but like one of the worst things I hear from people whose parent it was the divorce sucked, but then just hearing the like your dad this, I bet your dad
Mhm.
did this, and
Yeah,
your
yeah.
fucking mom, and it's like you kind of wish that it just was like two separate part. It was actually separate Christmases, and rather than like one Christmas tangentially related to the other, where there's like some awkward drop offs from each other and all of these things. Like it just that that to me, you have Michel who's just he's scared to make any sort of move in his life, scared to do anything. He feels that he's going to be rewarded academically for spiritual problems, basically, like that he's clearly going through. But he thinks an academic reward is going to. He doesn't outright say this, but he just puts his head down and works, which I think I can be guilty of that as well. Like when I have something wrong, I will immediately. It's not as a distraction, but I'll just go, well, this is what I can control. This is what I can control. I can put this down and I can do this, particles, 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 documents. I can do all of this stuff, and then that part of my life will be good. Now the ending is like the ultimate black pill for that because he doesn't even really get that. He gets lauded for something that really isn't like it's not quite what he wanted. So I want to talk about Michel first, guys. So just I want to hear people's thoughts on that.
Michelle's
Yeah,
very
I,
angry.
I knew that was going to happen. I should have
Yeah.
said a name. Yeah. I should have said a name. Yeah.
We need a ticket system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the ending did seem like a sort of like just kind of like fulfillment of Michelle's uh kind of innate asexuality that
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Good
it
point.
he did kind of like bring that into being. And it's funny like where last one's platform that like the main character is he fulfilled this sort of like sexual paradise just through like I don't know, want manifesting that and like
Hmm.
yeah, in this one he manifested his like asexual. Well, I mean, what's going on is like it's like he found out a way for DNA to kind of like self-replicate um
I didn't
without
really understand any of the science
Yeah,
stuff
he like
that's going on.
simplified the DNA strand so
Yeah.
that yeah, I don't know,
well, because
It's
some
like
it seemed like the main point there is it's very I mean I mentioned like Neon Genesis in the
Oh,
and
okay.
because to me this is like it's very Neon Genesis where all of the like pain and suffering throughout the book is directly a result of sex and like the need for love and affection. It's the whole like hedgehog's dilemma thing they propose in Neon Genesis,
Hmm.
um, which they solve through the Human Instrumentality Project, which is like removing individuality and just like throwing humanity in this sort of like orange goop of like asexual nothing. And kind
Damn.
of like in a submission way, it's like they kind of submit to I don't know, this sort of like brave new world of drama free, beauty free, like the things that any sort of like religious humanist minded person values that makes like finding beauty through suffering of life. It's like that's all eliminated. And so now you're just kind of like existing and you're in this like giant like Ouroboros circle jerk.
Yeah. And what you
yeah.
said, finding beauty through suffering, that created the most annoying girl on the internet, by the way. That
Right? Yeah.
it's like because they used to believe find what you love and let it kill you.
Yeah,
Like that, like those like those like infographic, which is like their moms get it right with live, laugh, love. They only can ironically get to live, laugh, love. Haha, wouldn't it be funny if I had live, laugh, love despite being into beauty through suffering, you know what I mean? But I just that you're right though. I think I actually, to be honest, I didn't understand the actual nuts and bolts of like the science. I just understood. I was like, this is what happens when the wrong people get a hold of your life's work, which in science is going to happen 10 out of 10 times.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like they like took like the epi like whatever like all the nerves from the penis and like apparently they can
Uh,
just like feel that all over now.
Kaiser's corpuscles or
Corpuscles or
Dude,
something.
whatever.
yeah.
Well, there's bits of greatness in all
And they can
science.
feel it all over,
Yeah.
but then there's like no need for reproduction
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
I guess you could just like get off from like
Yeah.
I don't know, like rubbing against a bench or something like
Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah. Also, is there any boxing or UFC fighting? Because that would hurt.
Oh yeah, no, it
Yeah.
sounds
You're
fucking
like,
miserable,
ow! Like it's a
dude. Yeah.
shoulder, and it feels like you got kicked in the nuts every time. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
I
Adam
mean, if
Lair
you
just like dropped dead.
Yeah. He loves this book, but it's like, Adam, the UFC wouldn't work. Yeah, anymore. Like, think about it. Think. Yeah.
I thought it was really actually funny Michelle scene to me. There are very few. Was when he's at Bruno's wedding to Anne,
Yeah.
and the priest is giving his he's quoting they two shall be one flesh or whatever,
Mhm.
and he goes up like excitedly to like the drunken priest afterwards, and he's like, but man, did you ever think about that two particles once united are forever inseparable? And then the priest is just drunk, and he's like, okay, young man.
Yeah. Shut up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's so funny. It's kind of, you brought up something there, Patrick, where when Michel and Bruno are some of my favorite moments of the book are just when they're like drunk
Yeah.
in the house,
Yeah.
just talking
Yeah,
to each other,
yeah, yeah.
and they're not really talking to each other. They're both just
No.
saying things, but that's how it is. I've noticed when I have real chats with the bros where we're both just not doing so hot, they say what's going on. I then go, should we open another bottle of wine? Like, you think, is there any more in there? Yeah, get that out. They keep going. Nothing happens for a while. And then I go, yeah, man, you should fucking, for me, dude, this thing happened, blah, blah, blah. And you just like say
Yep.
you're part of it. And you don't help each other with anything, like, really, but you're there. The
Yeah.
presence helps each other
Yeah,
there. Like, and what sucks is that they never really had the childhood together. I've noticed, like, if
Yeah.
they had much more things happen, like, if say your mom runs away on like a sex colony, but like at least your brother's there,
Yeah.
for the most part, and like that would be a lot better in my opinion. Like that would be at least you have that. Like you hear stories of that where people just have bad parents, but like their brother was cool, or their sister or whoever, cousin, doesn't matter. Like that part, those parts when they're just kind of both don't really understand each other at all, but they both know that like just their presence in the room is necessary. I think that's really well written.
Yeah, the
Well,
fact
I think
that
I
neither
think
of their parents, sorry, Patrick, the fact that they didn't have that childhood together. I mean, that's super important. They didn't have mom. That them
Mhm.
not having Janine being a giant whore and running off, it manifested differently in the kids. And Michelle not having that maternal love, it just ended up, if you take it to its logical conclusion, turned into trannyism. Um, and it all goes back to, like I said, he never had. There was never any kind of maternal love in his life. I mean, he had that relationship with I guess the woman who adopted, or his grandmom who adopted him, but he just didn't know how to feel it. He had no capacity to feel the love.
well, and both of them too, like I mean, like their fathers aren't there either, but they kind of both just end up becoming their fathers. Like
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
Michelle, like his father's a filmmaker, but he's like he just like he doesn't have any ambition. He just like he's very good at his craft, but he just kind of like takes the projects as they come. He doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Right.
And then like eventually what? He just goes off to like communist China
That's
and is
yeah,
right.
like
That's
doesn't he get like
disappears.
eaten in Tibet or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just like
Yeah.
disappears there. No one knows what happened, which is eventually what happened to Michelle too. And
Mhm.
then Bruno,
Good
it's
point. I
like
didn't even think about that. Great point.
yeah, and then Bruno was like Bruno's like his father, where like his father they describe him as like I don't know, like ape-like, like like hairy, horny kind of
Yeah.
situation. And he just becomes that too, but like less successful.
Yeah, he's drunk
Yeah,
constantly.
no
Yeah.
Yeah.
moderating female influence in their early life.
No. And that goes to show, I know, people are like the nuclear family is important, but when mom's bad, ooh.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
dad just leaves, that's definitely a problem, especially for the young ladies. That's a really bad problem. But when mom's like absent and bad, it's like for a young boy, it's just you don't think about it as a boy. Like you love your mom as a boy, like you do, but like
Yeah.
if she would like, can you just imagine the idea of your mom not being there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and if it does happen, it's just like, yeah, I'm sure people going, yeah, it sucks. You know, like it's terrible. Whereas like dad, you kind of like because Welbeck has that chapter of when men don't have the love of a woman, they just die. They just like self-destruct and die. Like when they like after the guy gets divorced, if he doesn't remarry immediately, he just like withers away and like dies, which that would probably be true for sure. Which is
Yeah.
why they like move on so fast, whereas like women can do the like travel to Europe, like do all of that stuff. Eventually, they run into a little bit of a a brick wall, the wall, and but eventually that happens. Like, but for they just like kind of the men like withering away without that, like you said, like I think Doug said it, like that structure imposed, like that woman nest
There's
structure.
literally anything. There's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
They're
Yeah.
the like moms create like the elementary particles of society. Like, isn't that the name of the book? So did we talk about yet the part that really broke my heart was when Michelle's father comes home to the aftermath of the
Oh
orgy for
God, yeah.
Michelle and finds Michelle like screaming and slipping in his own shit. And
Yeah, dude.
this and that if as if that weren't bad enough, Wilbeck has some line that's like Michelle was already so afraid of human presence that young as like a 1 year old that he was like screaming and trying to get away from his father. And that was like one of the moments that I cried, just so heartbreaking.
Yeah, because like you think about like I don't want to be crass here, but like if you've ever like heard your parents like get it on from like the room, like they're like not they're not like doing it to be weird like as like expositionist, but like they're like, oh shit, I didn't know you could hear that kind of thing. I grew up with very thin walls in a duplex, so but like you hear you know like that's like even to you you're like fuck gross, you know what I mean? Like but like the idea of like an actual like yeah we're fucking so what kind of thing, you're like ugh, like you know what I mean? It's just like gross. Just that concept of that is the grossest thing like you could ever
Yeah.
think of. Like you would it just sucks because like everybody loves a good redemption story. And but the idea is like, have you ever seen that though? Like it's like you've never seen that origin story. And if you have, does it always end in redemption? Like not really. Is it what I want in a novel? Not really. But I can't say it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't mean to bring up. I don't know if I'm bringing any memories back of your guys' parents. Maybe you guys had big houses growing up.
Yeah, we did. My parents are divorced.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Ouch. Yeah. But it's that. Yeah, there's definitely that. But yeah, I just think that I think Michel. I look at him and I remember Cody was posting in the Discord. He was just like, "Man, Bruno's disgusting," and I'm like, "Just wait." Just wait, because like you end up hating. Like Bruno doesn't become like cool ever, but Michel becomes this nothing person that just like Bruno. I think has the best high points by far of his life.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not even close. I mean, the woman's name that he shacks up with the son, who's like in like
Christian.
yeah.
Christian, yeah.
Yeah, the one like where they live in that horrible like West Side Story gang fights every night, like neighborhood.
Yeah, with the son that's like fucking like like
Yeah.
a serial killer or something.
Yeah, there's a few of those in there. There's a few like Charles Mansons in this book, like especially the guy who runs the sex colony, like his son. His son. I love that part of the book. It was really funny. Like there's a lot of that in there. But Bruno has those. Michel has nothing. Like you can even the great moments with Annabelle, like you just know that's not going to work. Like you like there's no point. Like there's just kind of like Woody Allen interiors quality to it where you're like something's not right. Something's not right here. Like with Christiane, you're just like something's not right, but at least this seems fun, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
you'd prefer
no way,
to have-
dude. I cannot. That Bruno's highlights are not. Those are not highlights, dude. It's such a fucked up, depraved existence.
Yeah,
You'd
but at
still
least he's
prefer to
doing.
have Bruno's life than Michelle's. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for all
Which one
like-
would you pick? Like let's go through
Yeah.
that right now. Who would you pick? I'd pick Bruno. 10
Bruno.
out of 10 times.
Bruno.
Yeah.
Bruno.
Yeah.
Even though he had
Bruno.
to suck off the prefect and got pissed in the face and
Yeah.
all that
Well,
shit.
that's a
like,
bonus.
That,
Like,
that happens, yeah.
Everybody wants the one in a million girl who's like who'll engender your sick fuck life and still give
Yeah.
you blowjobs all the time.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
he.
Mini
But yeah,
I pick
platform.
option 3, Kurt Cobain myself.
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
But yeah,
Hey,
he fucks
Cody.
and eats. Whereas like Michelle in like one of the first few chapters, he just like after it's like right after he leaves the university, he just like he goes in his like apartment for 3 weeks and they're like and he barely moved. Like
yeah.
just like
Yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Well, okay, that happens. But yeah.
no, that
But that was like
that ha
Oh, that's bad. Okay.
no, no, no.
I know what you mean.
That happens, but there's normally like some jerking off and some eating. Like with that you just get the like
Great point.
yeah, you just
Yeah.
get the impression that he literally just like
Yeah, doesn't he not eat
Dude,
at
he's
all?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like a plant,
That's-
dude. He's like photosynthesizes.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
He
no like
orders
human
3
drive.
porn DVDs a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got his 3 porn DVDs a year that he orders, and he weekly jerks off for
That's
for that
true.
that whole
That's
year.
true. And so
that's
you
basically
That seems
that's
like the
basically-
perfect outcome for like the e-Catholics or whatever.
yeah. Hey, I
You
mean,
don't get to watch porn or whatever.
That's like his entire life, though, is like that 3 weeks. Like you can extrapolate that because it's like the kind of personality that you have to have like a successful career in STEM or whatever. Is
Yeah.
like he just
you
lives
can't touch your stem.
right. He just like lives in the neoliberal dorms for like 18 years, right? And he just eats like the same thing every day,
Gosh.
and just a life of like what I mean. They say at one point that it's a life of pure intellectuality, but it's like even beyond that kind of because it's like he's just a non-entity, like a non-person.
Right. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. That's what I mean.
Well, it's
like,
like I think there's something like he even references like Nietzsche a few times in the book, and I think
Yeah.
it's kind of like this sort of like extrapolation of like the Ubermensch kind because there's the Dima Cole or whatever the like Italian serial killer. Like he's kind of a different version of that. Like he's
Yeah.
like like this Ubermensch. He's like the laws don't apply to me. Like I can like Crime and Punishment kind of like go beyond, see like where you can take like
Yeah.
overcome humanity, whereas Michel's doing like it in a different way where he's like he's evolved beyond human. He does, but in like a bad way where he doesn't have emotions and like he's more can be like I don't want to say objective, but like he's just like this sort of neutered like unemotional like non-human thing, and that's like a different kind of like evolution. And then I thought it was interesting that Annabelle aborted both his and the murderer's children, so it's like that
Yeah.
would be you'd think normally how you'd advance the species like to evolve it like, if they're like quote unquote ubermensches, but then she's aborting them and then they have to do it in this different way where Michel creates this like genetic whatever that people then like misinterpret and use to create the race of super trannies or whatever. So I think maybe if I'd read Nietzsche or something more recently, like there would be more like to get out of it. I think he's just trying to say something like along those lines there.
Yeah. And it's there. He really values that stuff too. So he's doing that in the and there I thought one of the Houellebecq does such a good job with the male gut punch. Like I don't think there's an author that's better at the male gut punch and I'm not even talking about what's happening at the end, but the part when they go to the sex colony and Michel just can't make a move on
Yeah.
Annabelle.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the serial killer guy 2 seconds is fucking.
No problem.
And you're just
Dude.
like many such cases. But the thing is, like, it's like you are a little at fault for that because
Yeah,
you could have,
that's the worst.
but you had to work because you're nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not nice. He doesn't have to work hard. Now, the lesson of all of that is I don't really think that people need to put this premium on virginity that they do. But at the same time, you shouldn't be letting Charles Manson guys hit.
Right.
Yeah. We can probably find a principled centrist middle ground.
Yeah.
Well, there's the whole thing where like Annabelle is like she's like confused because like
Mhm.
she's like reading all of these like female magazines.
That's
like,
right.
Like whatever the French version of like Cosmo is and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And she's
Mhm.
like she feels one way, but then like the Cosmo article like told her one thing one week and something the other.
Oh,
And so like by the time like the serial killer comes to her, she's like, I think this is what I'm supposed to do, and then just goes for it.
and the real black pill outside of elementary particles is they're not even reading those magazines anymore. It's just their phones telling them these things.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sweet.
It's tough. It's tough because you're like, it's just like this is on the phone. That's real. and then I mean, look, there's men that suffer from that too, but you're kind of like, Yeah, it's really sad. Like you have to like tell like yeah like the average like libtard woman really has to like you have to like no, that's not that you are a different person than that. I hope,
Mhm.
like and but they're like no, this is reality even though this thing is so far removed from what, me and you have. It's like that's reality. So I should just do that because this magazine is my influence in life. And they come from like she comes from a good background, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not even like
Yeah,
she has
yeah.
the excuse of the, my mom ran off, and so she has like a nice, sweet family. Like for the most part, unless I'm misremembering that, I feel like she has a really nice
Yeah.
family and stuff. And you're just like, I. I don't put a lot of this stuff on her. I think she's just kind of the case study for like, the new death of the post death of the West woman, that Welbeck likes to do a lot of times. She's not the manic pixie dream girl in here. That would be Christiane. And what's her name from Platform? The one who gets it at the end of Platform. Like she's,
Yeah.
though,
Can't remember her name.
yeah, can't remember. I never. Once I'm
That
done
was
with the Welbeck book, I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
anybody's name unless the guy's name is Michel. Which it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
happens
yeah.
quite a bit.
Right.
Like I'm just like,
Yeah.
nice, thanks, yeah, thank you for doing.
Annabelle was fucked up though because Michelle never reciprocated her love. She loved
It's true.
Michelle. She loved Michelle from the time they were,
That's the gut punch because
like preteens.
he could have, yeah,
And the
Mhm.
fact that he never made that move,
yeah,
that
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it fucked up the rest of her life.
And like something about that like drew her even closer. She's kind
yeah.
of like, oh, he's like so mysterious. And like she says she like read that one book at one point and she's like she thought he like understood him for like a
Yeah.
week and then she's like, no, I still don't get it.
Yeah. And then she's
Like
like, this guy really
Yeah.
mysterious. I'm gonna let him hit immediately. Yeah, like
Dude,
while
it's like
Michelle's there.
yeah, it's like
Oh,
the
rough.
fucked up Forrest Gump of like she's Jenny
Yes.
and he's
Yes.
like Tom
Yeah.
Hanks, but
Had that
like
exact thought.
with no redeemable qualities.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely right. She is
I
Robin
also
Wright.
hate that movie,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yeah. Right. It's Robin Wright. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly who it is. But yeah, man, Michelle is like, it's just one after the other because again, it's like, I just know I'm not Bruno. That's why it's not a thing. I think Michelle,
Yeah.
there's parts of it where I'm like, fuck, do I do that?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're without anybody keeping you in that structure, that is the logical conclusion a lot of times is you just miss out on things. Like you've bypassed fate because you don't believe in fate. So you're trying to find 10 different many other ways of why something isn't the way that it is when really you are in control of your life. And you've bypassed that because it's particles. It's this
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this and this. Like it's and I, as somebody who doesn't think that way, I still can at times. I can still operate as such. Less
Yeah.
nowadays, but when I was younger, it's like, gosh, how many times have you left meat on the bone when you're young and you're just thinking what could you have done different in that situation?
Both Bruno and Michelle have the same sort of like failure to act. Where I mean, that's like Michelle's entire like
Yes.
modus operandi with ladies. But like Bruno has this too. Like the two girls who commit suicide in his life
Mhm.
is like a result. I mean, you can't directly pin it on him, but kind of, especially like Christiane, where it's like she gets whatever in the accident, and he just like doesn't show up, and then when he does, she's dead.
Damn.
Maybe
That's
that's
an-
why I hate it so much because I relate to it too much.
I'm telling you, no, there's a few, wonder who that's for, kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
moments,
yeah.
like Garfield meme, like kind of
Yeah.
moments of this book where I'm like, hey, shut up. Like, let's make fun of ladies some more. Yeah.
Well, that seems
I
like
thought
a
you were the misogynist. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not what I signed up for, pal. I know.
Just with like the
yeah,
crying
yeah.
face and the angry.
Yeah. Oh, this is my favorite book. Yeah. You're just like, I'm like, yeah, no,
I
it's
hate
true.
this book.
It hits hard. No, it hits hard. It hits way
It
harder
does.
on guys than it does girls. I feel like
Yeah.
this.
Well, because there's like that one instance in Platform at the end of like the first act where he like fails to he falls asleep at the party,
Yeah.
and the girl like begrudgingly like, gives him a second chance, and that's memorable because like, dude, yeah, it seems like some shit I would do or have done, and
I know.
Michelle Welbeck definitely seems preoccupied with that specifically.
Yeah, and like when guys do it, I'm sure there's an element of this now, but when you hear young people talk about it, it's like, oh, it's because of like Me Too. It's like, nah, we've been doing that shit for years, dude.
That dude,
Yeah,
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 we've
yeah.
been, we've been fucking up for years. That's
yeah,
like like country boys make do. You really, if you really wanna
Right,
get
yeah.
after it, like it's like nah, that's just like that is a thing that you have to overcome as a man. Like it is part of like a civilized like modern world. Because again, if we were intense,
Yeah.
that's why I love the Bruno sex scenes because you are back in like the primal age and it's a lot easier. But
Yeah.
that's got its own
Mhm.
problems, yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
but like you do get the like, oh, I could just go in the teepee and get active, like you do get that moment, but it's like this other way, like Michelle, it's like, dude, Annabelle will let you, like she's down, like she's not a prude. I mean, in a way, she
No.
is, but isn't. But she's not like she'd let you do it. Obviously, it happened,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's the
He could have
problem
at
with
least kissed her.
yeah,
Like,
exactly,
Mm.
You can at least mark your territory a
but
little bit.
he's like
Yeah,
asexual and impotent or something. Like he just like
yeah,
has no desire. Whereas Bruno's the
Yeah.
opposite. He's
yeah.
like a premature ejaculator, but can't
Yeah.
like get any girls
Right,
to like
yeah.
Yeah. Bruno's
the
like, what do
tip
you?
job.
Yeah, Bruno's like, what are you talking about? I saw mom's roast beef labia, like fucking
Yeah.
2 years old, dude. Like, what are you talking about? You pussy? Like,
Oh
yeah.
my God, yeah, and that whole thing, and he's like, yeah, and like the therapist like love whenever he tells that story,
I
like,
know.
Yeah, I love that. The therapist
Yeah,
leans
therapist
forward.
is writing down like what he's gonna get for dinner, and then
Yeah.
like, oh wait, he's got to the good part.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
there's something
Yeah.
about Mary therapist, like
yeah,
when he's not, and
Yeah, yeah.
And Bruno,
yeah,
like the first time he gets with Christiane, she like immediately had just finished banging some other random nameless dude in the like pool
yeah,
at the hippie place. And then
yeah,
she's
and
just like,
he was
oh,
like,
another bloke.
yeah, he was like, nice, like this,
Yeah.
this, I
Yeah,
should,
he's
this
like,
should work.
I have a right
Yeah.
to use the hot tub just because they're in there. I have every right. This is
Yeah. Stand your ground law. Yeah. In the hot tub.
and it
Yeah.
worked out for him.
Well, let's talk about Bruno a little bit. Obviously, if anything from Michelle pops up, I'd still like to talk about it. But Bruno is, I mean, it's a foreign land to me. So it's why it's less hard hitting to me. Like I know
Yeah.
that people are like, oh, get him away from me. Yeah, he doesn't seem like a very fun guy to hang out with at all.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he's fat sucks. Like too, like 'cause if he was a Chad, like jawline Chad,
Yeah.
everyone would be like, nice. You know what I mean? But like the fact that he's really, what does he do? He eats 12 burgers, like when he like runs and just a bunch of milkshakes and then like jacks off.
Dude, I was expecting for him to be like reading the synopsis or the
Yeah.
back covers. Like I thought that was gonna be like the polar opposites of like Michelle's like
Yeah.
the whatever and the name Bruno too, like kind of
Yeah.
suggests that this
Yeah.
is gonna be like some alpha male, but
At
he's
best, you're a Filipino in a fedora.
right. Yeah.
At best.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
the
dude.
movie, the German movie version, he looks like filthy Armenian Bruno. Like he's
Oh no.
Does he?
yeah,
Oh,
like not like not,
disavow. I disavow. I haven't seen it, so but yeah, I disavow.
the movie's okay. I've got it playing on the other screen
Yeah.
right now, just watching it. It's I remember watching it after I read the book and
Just Twitch
it
streaming.
didn't hit that hard, and it has like they made the ending different, where I think they kept like
Yeah.
Michelle alive or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Filthy is just I like Bruno.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah.
No, I like
But
Bruno.
then Bruno
I
get
didn't know it was
jacked
a movie.
in middle age.
Oh,
like,
he does look like filthy.
he decides to put the Twinkies down and
Yeah.
start hitting the bench.
Yeah, he
And
kind of Bronze
and
Age
he-
mindsets a little bit.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the
he gets
fat
that
kid from
like
It,
that
you know?
thin that thin beard. Yeah, and he gets like he gets a little ripped, but yeah, he still has the small penis issues. He never gets over that.
Yeah, which like I still feel like you could get down like with the small.
he says
pit,
like 5
yeah.
inches.
Yeah.
That's not
That's a
that-
normal
not
dick.
that's
That's
not
not
small.
small.
I know.
Like that's
Yeah.
no.
That's literally like probably
dude, that's
average.
such French bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, Houellebecq himself better have a hog. So whenever that porno,
I feel like he
shows,
does. I feel like
yeah.
he does. I
I
feel
wonder
like
if
he has.
that's
I feel like he has a
publicly
Willem Dafoe like style, like where it's like that was go see a doctor. What's happening? You know what I mean? Like
He's got that like Howard Stern thing though. You remember how Howard Stern in the 90s would always
Yes.
talk about how he had a tiny dick and like his wife would be like, Howard's dick is fine. And like Bruno's the
Yeah.
same way. He's fine, but like he has
Yeah.
all this shit from when he was a kid where he has a permanent hang up about it. Like he can't let go of like constantly thinking about black dudes banging Christiane.
Yeah, exactly. Which and then it's like, whatever.
I have a couple highlights in regards to that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He's like, yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, dude, unless it's like inverted, like you can get down, dude. Like, I
Hmm.
think they're a little more put off by your persona than your penis. And I think there's an irony to the humor in all of it. I don't know if Welbeck is saying, like, yeah, 5 inches is tiny. And I don't know that he's
Yeah,
saying that. I think it's more so like,
the
look at this
character
guy.
thinks
This guy's
that.
so hung up on that. That's why women call it big dick
Yeah,
energy,
yeah,
not big dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you
I
gotta.
wanted the bitch so badly. I spent the weekend writing a racist pamphlet. I had a hard on the whole time I was writing
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I highlighted that too.
Racism as cuckoldry.
Yeah, that's like Celine. That's literally Celine. Like that's
What about his poetry, the like poetry circle thing or whatever?
Yep.
And it's just like taxi drivers are fucking cunts. They never stop the little runts or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, oh yes, that's you have a lot of feelings about that.
That's so funny. I know. Well, Bruno has a pretty rough time at boarding school, which I've never heard of a good experience at boarding school in Europe in my life. It's always like a series of unfortunate events, Pink Floyd The Wall, just all of these
Right.
like horrible experiences like,
I only know of Zoe 101,
Yeah.
that Nickelodeon TV show from when I was a kid.
Okay, is that
Is
were
that
they
a positive?
was
Well,
that
'cause
what
she's
I missed that. I'm too old
is
for
that a
that one.
lady?
That was Jamie Lynn Spears. That was
Oh, I see.
it was one of the Dan Schneider shows. Yeah,
Oh, so a positive boarding school experience, it sounds like. Yeah, but
certainly a boarding school experience.
yeah.
Well,
But
only
Bruno's
the
is like Ray Winstone in Scum, basically.
yes.
Yeah.
I pictured Ray Winstone as Bruno a little bit, like when he got really bloated, like when Ray Winstone was really because he was a good-looking guy in Quadrophenia, but like when Ray
When he's
Winstone's
in,
like,
like Nil by Mouth or something.
yeah, or the Proposition, where he's like, yeah, well, I've got to go over here now, and he just like that frog, like those frog sounds, like that
Yeah.
And
those big
like
fat guys make, yeah.
and like Bruno also has like I mean like after they both brothers get shuffled off to like their respective grandparents or whatever, like he has like the sadder childhood even like before he gets to boarding school.
Yeah.
He's like with that grandmother who's like she's just kind of like despondent because her daughter, who was like the whore mother, didn't like
Yeah,
show
yeah.
up. So she just kind of shuffles around blankly and like the only thing she can do is cook,
Yeah,
which is why he's like
fat.
yeah.
All she can do is ask why her life ended like this, which is
Yeah.
That's rough. And back to the boarding school thing. If you ever know any like TDS boomers, they talk about Trump as like a bully.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like that's like their biggest thing is like the bull he's a bully. And I'm like, you guys know what actual bullying is.
Mhm.
Like you got like because if you read any like British memoir of like boarding school or something, it like I said this in our chat, but it's just like anyways the entire class shit in the soup and they said you have to eat it or else you're kicked out of boarding school and you won't be able to get into Oxford. So I was eating the shit soup the whole time, and they're just like anyways, yeah, that's how I wrote Harvest Moon or what. I just like, well, these like these big whatever. I know that he's Canadian, but whatever. Just you hear about all these things like Stephen King books. The bullying is unreal in Stephen King books.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, like, but then I just always laughed at like these are like real bullying experiences, and like this is post like anti-bullying or like cyber-bullying and all of these things. Like these are nothing compared to that, and like you feel bad because I love when he's like his dad like comes and picks him up in like the sports car on the weekends and stuff, and then you just go back to just getting like shit on like at boarding school. It's just like, damn, dude, that sucks. Oh gosh, poor Bruno. Boy, I do feel bad for him. I know he's a disgusting pedophile, and he's like
Well-
he's a capital P pedophile too. Like it's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
the age gap discourse like pedophile.
No.
Yeah,
So-
he's
What's
a,
the word? It's like a febophile or whatever, where it's like
yeah
14 to 16-year-old girls.
yeah or
The
27
libertarian
year old
distinctions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, it's not like Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Oh, he's a pedophile. And it's like no, it's like. He's like a real where you're just like when he's going to the colony and he's just like cool shower time. You're like, ugh, like it's like actually really bad.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like I think Welbeck likes to toy with you, and he's like, I bet you I can make you feel sorry for this guy for a little bit.
Well, I just
Yeah.
thought like Bruno and Michel were just like both sides of Michel Houellebecq.
Oh,
It's kinda
100%.
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
100.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
It's both.
bifurcated, yeah.
Yeah, he's like atomized his own personality into these two.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a sex
That's-
tape out like right now? Wasn't there like a
That's
scandal of
gotta-
that?
Houellebecq does.
Yeah, or something. There was like this thing with like
Yeah,
there-
he did this like film with like a Danish like film collective,
Keeping
which
It Real
Danish film
crew or
collective
something.
never like
Oh,
worked with someone
yeah.
called that, and he's
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
litigation with them to not get it released or something.
Yeah.
Damn, maybe that was
No
blackmail
way.
or something. Maybe it's like a blackmail thing.
Well, I think
or
that
something.
the
Didn't know
story
you know
is
that,
something
Cody.
like one of the girls in it
What?
like withdrew consent or something afterwards, and then he was like, "Well, if she can withdraw her consent to do it, then I should be able to withdraw my consent to have the video released or something." So that's his like legal
Slam the
argument.
gavel, slam the
Yeah.
gavel, case closed. Sorry.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. If you try to Me Too Houellebecq, it's not going to go well. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah, I
rough.
think 'cause
Could
he
you
was just
imagine
so
the like
grotesque,
Amber
some
Heard
of the-
Johnny Depp trial of
Yeah.
Michel Houellebecq? Like,
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I just go back to the map in the territory when he's just got broken glass all over his house and like summer sausage scattered all over the table and just like spilled wine, and he's just like, yeah, whatever, like I feel like that's how he actually lives. Like it's just like, but his Asian wife just cleans it up.
Yeah.
Like he does all of that stuff, but she's like, "Oh, I'm your biggest fan of all time." Like, oh, I love this is my favorite part of my favorite book is where you do this. Like, and I think that's I'm still very happy for him though. Like, and I about that he ended up that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
He has the best possible ending to his life, in my opinion.
Mm.
And that's why I have so much respect for Annihilation, the book. Like, and the
Yeah.
more we read these
Yeah.
books, I'm like, God, Annihilation is
Yeah.
good.
That
Like,
actually might be the masterpiece.
it might
Yeah.
be, and I think
Yeah.
we're just so it came out in real time, so it's like it can't be a masterpiece that comes out in real time. We're so used
Right.
to
Right, yeah,
retrospectives,
yeah.
how things age and stuff. But I guarantee you, I'll reread Annihilation almost more than any of these books. Like
Mhm.
I will pick that one probably and just go, wow, this is so good because there is like this. He's got somebody, and he's
Yeah.
somebody who's not going to run away on him, because if she met Houellebecq at his most melted candle mucinex germ, like thing, she ain't running now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like an upward trajectory throughout his throughout like all the books he wrote. We're just like kind of doing it in reverse. So now it's like we're like at the beginning, which is like the most bleak.
It's funny how
Yeah.
that works. Yeah.
Yeah, and which is like probably the reason why this is my least favorite too, just because like the older you get,
yeah.
the less this like nihilistic or
Sure.
fatalistic ending hits. You're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's-
Even serotonin doesn't feel as bleak.
no,
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 he
Yeah.
develops
doesn't
Serotonin's like the
do.
goofy one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
silly. Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
All of
like
them-
everyone who's read this book in this chat has the opposite opinion the next time they read it. So anyone who didn't like it should read it again, and anyone who did like it should never read it again.
well,
Right,
but it's like
yeah.
serotonin.
It's like
you have
quantum.
yeah,
Both
serotonin. You have
great
the,
and bad.
yeah, you have the serotonin where the man has a rifle scope focused on a child in a house, and you're like, this is cool,
Like, no,
and you're like, I love this book, yeah,
Right, yeah.
this is great, yeah, I'm having a blast.
Just
And
like
then-
the Michael
Yes.
Jackson gif with the popcorn.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah, he like Todd Solondz to do the movie of it or something.
That's very true.
Yeah,
Todd Solondz
yeah.
would do an excellent
That'd be perfect.
serotonin movie
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah, I mean, again, I am there. I'm still remembering some parts of Elementary Park because I really liked the beginning of the book a lot. I really liked,
It's really good.
yeah, the
Yeah.
beginning is great, just back and forth. But like, Bruno when he goes to I do like how Bruno is kind of like there with Michel and Annabelle for a little bit, and he's just kind of like like helplessly witnessing his brother just scare the hose, kind of like just
Yeah, fumble
scare
the
the
ball.
hoe. Even though Bruno is objectively more of a hoe scarer, he's watching one that he's like, those are so low stakes, like the
Yeah.
Bruno one. Because remember Bruno's girlfriend, the fat girl who wouldn't take her clothes off, and she would
Nick,
only she would only suck him off and like give him the hand jobs, and she would just like cover, and then she falls out of the window. She like jumps out of the
she
window.
jumps out of the
Oh,
window.
I,
Yeah.
Jumps,
I did
fully
laugh at
jumps.
that. I laughed, but that was mean. That was mean. Yeah, but I did laugh at that one. Like those don't feel nearly as high stakes. Like Bruno's
Right.
women don't become high stakes until he meets Christiane. Like all these other ones, you're just like, all right, dude. That's just a fun little something you had. That it did end well. All right, whatever. But that's just something you leave for later. Whereas Michel, the whole time, you're like, dude, Come on, get it together.
Well, except for Bruno's ex, I mean,
Yeah.
his relationship with
That's
his
true.
son is
That's
also
true. That's
brutal, where he's
terrible.
like, fatherhood literally
Good
doesn't mean
point.
anything,
Yeah.
because we pass nothing on to our children, whether it's our property or our craft or whatever. And women still have a reason to have children, and men don't. It's like, damn, dude.
That's kind of
It's fucking
crazy.
nightmare ass
Yeah,
marriage.
yeah, and well, you also because it's funny the whole time, and I think somebody brought it up earlier that I like. It's like he's saying all of that. The irony of it is they are their fathers, kind of.
Yeah,
Like,
Mhm.
so
they
it does
are.
pass down, even though you did they
Right.
didn't
Yeah,
have great relations.
Bruno.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bruno just repeated exactly like what his father did. Was that he like had
yeah.
this like he had this child with this woman that ended up being like
Hmm.
a nightmare. And
Right.
then like he just kind of looked at it after and was like, "Well, I like want to do something, but I don't know what." So like,
So just put Valium in the bottle.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
know. Old
touching
school.
on
That's old
Xanax.
school.
Yeah.
That's old
Yeah.
school shit right
Lindy.
there. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
little
Arsenic
whiskey.
and old lace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, was
Hey, one of Bruno's most like the most insightful details, I think, about the changes that they're talking about between the 70s to the 90s was that
Mm.
he says that like techno became the de facto sex club music rather than disco. And
Interesting.
Welbeck
That's right.
Mm.
uses
That's right. Mhm.
Welbeck uses this one fact that techno took over the sex club to kind of say that like the destruction of the moral values over the decades was like inevitable and mechanical, just like
Mm.
techno. And then he jumps from there to that like the serial killers of the 90s were the spiritual children of the hippies of the 60s.
It's very
Which is
true.
like, and this all just
Yeah.
comes from like listening to techno and sex clubs. It's just like
Yeah.
brilliant writing like that.
Well, I bought Wilbeck's Schopenhauer book and I read like 10
Nice.
pages.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna read it so you can
Yeah.
have it.
Thank you.
It's not bad. But there's the stuff. It's like the start. Like I've only read 10
Not
pages,
good.
so I can't.
It's not
But it's
bad.
like he talks about like the logic of the supermarket sort of taking over. And you know how there's always like supermarket
God, he loves the damn
meals.
He loves the
supermarket.
And so I feel like
supermarket.
this techno things like that. It's like you go from like soulful like Barry White music to just like it's all about like the BPM or something
Yeah.
as opposed to like the sensuality to the feeling. It's more like this production line, just like pump, 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 pump
Right.
kind of thing. Like, and that's the sex clubs. And then how the sex clubs all turn into like there's no human contact. It's just people in leather bodysuits whipping each other and
Right.
like all of this shit as opposed to any kind of like human connection. It's just about this just like physical experience kind of thing. So
Mhm.
Yeah, like, are you ever gonna actually meet your wife? At those. Whereas in the past, like, you'd be like, yeah, two freaky old people might actually meet each
At the
other at these
disco,
places.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
He hits on that with like that's like the devolution of liberalism and libertinism and libertarianism into just ever more depraved forms that end up in that one guy's son, Demiola's son, doing those snuff videos. Like that's the final form
Right.
of that libertinism of the 60s.
Yeah. Where do you go?
Yeah.
I mean, where do you go from there? I mean, it's like you're a bunch of drugged out hippies who kind of didn't see they saw this like utopian future that no made sense to no one except them.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, it's not gonna happen. They're like, okay, fascist, and then you like you're there. This is actually the future, and it's this life without you probably raise your children without consequences a lot of times.
Yeah.
A lot of or just don't raise them at all,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
kind of the same thing, honestly, like in terms of the end game. And that ends up being, like you said, the serial killer kid who's like, that is like, I've read a lot of those like weird, creepy, paranoid 60s, like the Laurel Canyon stuff. That's what a lot of those people ended up doing.
Yeah.
Like it's just like freaks. Like, I'm reading the the Keith Richards memoir where he's like, I was playing with the Everly Brothers and the drummer, nice bloke. He hacked his mother into bits. and like he's like, I thought he was a nice bloke. Like he's like, well, what would possess a human to do that? And this is like the Everly Brothers, dude. These are like
Right.
your grandma in like a big Chevy and your grandpa like sipping milkshakes together music. Like
Yeah.
think it's insane.
Something
Well-
that makes this book hard to judge now, I think, is that a lot of the ideas in it are just normalized now, especially in like right-wing
Oh,
circles.
yeah.
And in
Right,
1998,
yeah,
this
yeah.
would have been like shocking, right? Because in in the late 90s, like
Yeah.
the hippies were universally regarded as positive, and he's talking pretty bluntly about the
Yeah.
effects of feminism and the destruction of Christian values and the
Good point.
cult of youth and individualism, and how really like market forces and communism are just the same thing combined in the hippie movement. And so now we're all kind of used to these ideas 20 years late, 25 years later, but this is shocking stuff in the
Right.
late.
That's a great point. I bet you I probably would have liked this book a little bit more. I think like if it was back then,
Back in the
like
day.
Yeah, probably.
because it does feel like unfortunately, and this is not really Welbeck's problem. This is more my problem. Is like you hear something, you see something in there, and you're like, oh, that's what that fucking retard I hate on Twitter was saying.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah,
that fucking retard
it
guy.
totally felt. Yeah, everyone's a boomer basher now, and everyone blames like the '60s and the hippie thing, and this is very. I mean, this actually this is a very 1999 book of when I felt my like worst reading this was like this is so 1999 Fight Club, Office Space.
Yes.
How much does it fucking suck to read magazines to be consumer and
that was another thing I was personally against was that kind of fight because I hate Fight Club. I hate that movie.
Well, it's funny.
I may need to rewatch it, but
Fight Club and the best parts. The best part in the middle of the book was when the two brothers together just like shooting the shit and that like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood style.
Of
just being bros. And that's like the best part of Fight Club too is just like them hanging out and doing dishes and shit.
You're right. That's why the scenes where you actually get those two people together, Bruno and Michel is like this is nice. This is nice. We're just trying. They're shooting the shit. It's objectively a bad setting. Like it's like bad things are happening. They're talking about bad stuff. Everything is not okay. But you're like, that's kind of nice. So, you miss those days. Like, it's kind of the meme of, and not meme, but did this in real life too. Is the glass table outside at 3 a.m. of the party where you're just like, I don't even remember what we talked about, but it was nice.
Yeah,
just being
I feel
present.
better.
Yeah,
I feel better.
Because they're totally just talking over each other, and when that's happening too, it's funny because it's like there'd be chapter breaks, and I'm like, oh, they're still just like in the same living room, or I don't even know what's fucking going on, but they're like still hanging out together.
Yeah,
and just the fact of them being together is like what's kind of fun about that.
And they're asking questions to each other and just not, it's like everything's a retort. It's like, you remember what Huxley said about this? And they're just like, finally, that's what wakes like Michel up. He's like, actually, the real book is,
brings up Julie and Huxley or whatever.
Actually. And it's like, that does nothing to help me, but thank you. I love that part. Like, it's just like, oh gosh, it's,
well, that's it. The two times they're together is like that part. And then, when their mom's dying, which is like its own like horror scene.
Yeah, it is. But I found that scene really.
That's
funny.
a funny scene.
Dude, it is a funny scene.
Big guy, he's like, this is cunt to a prick or something like.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, the guy like it was like this like total like Jeff Spicoli like Fast Times at Ridgemont High character coming in. He's like,
dude.
They're just this and this. And he's like, what the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, this that's what he calls it.
Yeah, this fucking twat. Which is how I'm not a trans Lumpy guy, but like it is how
British,
you're reading a British British guy translating is like.
And I think they pronounce it twat.
Yeah,
twat.
Yeah.
Bruno's like in the middle of like a Kanye West breakdown, and Michelle just could not give a fuck.
He's just reposting porn.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, dude.
And the mother just seems like this, like at this point she's like this like withered old hag.
Yeah.
And then like you look up his actual mother, and like she is a scary hag.
Yeah. And the young kid was for sure hitting that like a month ago too, which is rough.
Oh my god!
When you think about that, you're like, the only reason he's there is because he was hitting that. And like that's and it was like not even like, oh, you took care of my mother. Obviously, you didn't take care of my mother. She's not doing so hot, and you're just thinking like, damn, like she was just like getting fucked the whole time by these like young guys who literally were just like they don't. It's like weird because you think about Michel. When it's a girl he actually likes, he freezes up and can't do anything, and all of that, and you just think like all these boys probably do the same thing, but they're like, yeah, but I got Michelle's mom, so I can just go fuck her, and you're just like, damn. Gross.
Orgasm as a
she's
matter
like
of custom.
taking the charge,
Pascal would undoubtedly have said if he had been interested in such thing.
I love the mother death scene. Honestly, like I just because I don't feel bad. Like it's
no, it's
no, and you I just like
proper ending.
Yeah, and I just like quickly like skimmed an interview with her that was like after this book was released or whatever, and she was like livid and whatever, just like it's just like foul mouthed and all that. And then I also found interesting that that's like the one character he like didn't change the name of. He like left
Oh, I didn't even know
Oh,
that.
no
so
way.
like a real name is Lucy, but he kept like the last name the same, like Chicaldi or
Damn.
something like that.
Ah.
Yeah. So it was like pretty obvious that it was her.
Yeah,
Man.
very
Th-
intentional.
Wow, I did not
What
know
what
Yeah.
did
that.
she say in the interview? Like what was her?
Like her whole thing was like it's like who does he think she is? Oh, and then she had just like wrote like her like own autobiography and like response because like I guess people
No one
like as
cares.
if anyone would care or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that flop.
And
That flopped for
yeah,
sure.
and then like the interviewer was like, "Oh, like if Michelle died, what would you feel?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'd feel sad, but like I don't know." And it's like, and then she's like, "Oh, this whole like idea of like maternal love is just like, ugh, just so annoying." And she's just like
Oof.
fucking cursing the
Rest in
whole
peace.
time. And then there's this picture of her, and she looks like some like old like babushka, like.
Mhm. And you tend to wonder too if Welbeck, I think he's fully aware of a lot of the irony, of course, in the book. But
Mm,
the you become your parents even though you pretend there's nothing that's been passed down.
hmm
Or like even if the world has changed, there's certain genetic aspects that you're going to you would have to actively stop yourself from doing a lot of times if you want to do something different. But you think about it, Welbeck, he had a child, he wasn't really present.
no.
No,
So
he
it's
abandoned
kind of
his
it's
child.
kind of like,
Yeah,
all right, you had a
Yeah.
chance to rectify that, but maybe he hates the fact that he might have felt the same way as his mom a little bit
right.
That's kind of like
when presented with the opportunity.
Maybe that kid was a little asshole.
Yeah,
yeah.
his
Maybe he's a
son looks
serial
cool.
killer.
His son looks cool.
I
Yeah.
didn't know he had a son. That's
Yeah, if you look him up, he looks
I'm
like
looking
like
solid.
we should be like, dude, come on, slide through, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
come on
Come
for
on the
whatever.
pod.
Come on for whatever. Yeah.
Probably what your dad said when you were born.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
right. Yeah.
That's his middle name. Yeah. But
No way.
Well, it's
yeah.
like this nature
We'll do
versus nurture thing where it's like they get the nature traits are inherited, but because they're not nurtured, then they're just like these fucked up individuals
Right.
because they didn't have
Yeah.
proper like childhoods or anything like that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like if you're a sensitive child, your parents know that you're a sensitive child. It's pretty easy to see. Pretty easy to
Yeah.
see.
Right.
If they cater to that too much, we've all seen it. Gen X.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. And they're 45 and these conclusions that everyone knows about because they're presented with them early in life. You did not win. You did not actually the job you applied for. It's possible for them to turn you down. It's like a lot of these elements like you've seen them like you don't want the first time their sensitivity to actually become a bad thing to be at the job interview that they don't get or with the
Yeah.
girl who breaks their heart or with that like and again there's a middle ground, right? Like you have to, like I've always said it, like you tell your kid you're proud of them every once in a while even if you're not, you know what I mean, just so they know they have it on file that it's happened once, like there you have to, it's a fine line. I mean it's not easy, but you definitely don't just walk out and go to a sex colony.
Yeah.
That's definitely bad if you do that. So that's
Yeah.
just my opinion
Yeah,
on
it's like this cult of youth thing where they like, worship youth except their own children.
Yeah.
That's the only youth they don't
Right.
worship.
Well,
and then they inevitably age out and then they're like,
Yeah.
well, what do you expect? Like no one's going to give a shit about you now because you built this world that's like, yeah, obviously Welbeck has this like, sympathy for elders and like thinks society neglects the elderly and should respect it more and stuff. And then like this is like the consequence of being like that.
Well, and even get the hints in that, which he like expounds upon like later in like the map and the territory or whatever, where it was like this whole like concept of like human dignity comes about.
Mm-hmm.
And that, but like human dignity just means like you don't want anybody to see you like decline. Like you're
Right.
just not like
It means
100%
suicide
flexible.
pod.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have you man, it is interesting this kind of just the aspect of like the mom and what like the most sacred. Welbeck's really good at taking a thing that's been sacred for thousands and thousands of years and just telling you like, why did this disappear in like 30 years?
Yeah.
I mean, 30 years
Yeah.
should be nothing. 30 years should be nothing in the scope of time. when the mother has always been this, and it's like, okay, let's say we do phase out of that. Let's say it is the natural trajectory of life to phase out of that. Shouldn't that take like 500 years to do, not 30 years? So he's one of these like people that he sees this acceleration of something, and that's why you hear people call him reactionary, which is correct, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it's not a like it's correct, and it's a good thing actually, in my opinion. In my
Mhm.
opinion. But like people are when they hate him, they're accurate a lot of times. And
Right.
and he's really good. I mean, I'm the same way. It's like, wait, why did that change over? Why in 2010 in the like look at the 2010s, everything that changed during the 2010s. You're like, that should have, if that was the way society was headed, it should have taken 100 years, or something for us to have pronouns. You know what I'm saying? Or for things like that. Those should have that should have taken way longer to be implemented in society. Unless it's shoehorned
I
in.
mean,
Unless
arguably, it did kind of take 100 years.
did it?
You could argue. I mean,
I guess the issue with like pronouns, did it take 100 years? Like, I mean, that felt like something dropped on our heads.
I mean, Ayn Rand was writing about pronouns in the Anthem in the 30s.
Yeah, exactly.
But where were they
So-
implemented at? Like, I mean, I get it. Like
I don't
Aldous,
know. I'm just kind
Aldous
of
Huxley.
spitballing the idea here.
Yeah, because like Aldous Huxley, like we could say Brave New World, like he predicted a lot of the stuff. Or I haven't read it, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say what's true and what's not. But that's in a fiction novel still, and I love the ability to predict things. That to me isn't the starting point of it, though. That like we just one day woke up and this was X was Y, Y was Z. And
I just mean she got that from somewhere. Something happened in the Soviet Union that she saw.
Yeah,
well, there you go. Yeah, whatever the hell they're doing over there, that's true. Yeah, I agree.
And then they eventually came over here, which was later proven. And they go into the universities. And
Well, and you even see a bit of that in the epilogue whenever it's like another Polish name. What's his like the scientist that like takes Michel's like technology.
Houellebecq or something.
Let's say
something like that.
I don't know
And
how to
he's
say
like,
it,
and he's like this like kind of like spin doctor kind of. Actually, speaking of Ayn Rand, he kind of reminded me of like Dr.
Stadler.
Ferris.
Oh,
Yes, Stadler too. Yeah, but like from like the Science Institute or whatever, kind of like they're not like that great at science, but they're like good at like putting a spin on stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, like at one point he says like what is it? One of his slogans is like the future is feminine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that was
sell that
wild
stuff.
to read. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this idea too of like all these Houellebecq's books existing in this like Houellebecqian universe kind of thing, because there's like the thing where it says like no French nationalists are on the like team that like genetically create the next super race like in the year 2029. And I feel like that's like a nod towards like submission, that like by then the country is fully like Muslim, and so like their science is just like taking like a nosedive and stuff. And then it even sort of feeds into the like obviously like possibility of an island sort of universe where it's like they've got genetically modified clones and all that stuff. So
I mean,
like,
they're using. I feel like they're using the nuts and the bolts for the science in that book completely.
Yes.
Possibility,
Yeah.
and like it feels like a continuation.
I was wondering. I was going to ask. Yeah.
I personally think that book is like brilliant. I bring it up to people all the time, and they're just like, "Really? Like you do?" I don't know. I think it's the funniest book because the character is a stand-up comedian, like kind of a like his
one good one.
His porn videos like that he makes are really funny. Like they're like really funny, like erotic movies that he has, ideas that he has that he like spitballs, because it's all written in memoir form, similar to Elementary Particles, as though you're like this is like recovered from the archive kind of thing, and he's writing to himself. He's writing his thoughts down so his future clone versions of himself understand it as operating as basically hardware and software for the current clone, so nothing ever changes, right? Because in Elementary Particles, every single change is a bad change. Every single change is a bad change. Like there's, I mean, I'm trying to think, is there a good one at all? Like in Elementary Particles? I don't think so. So in Possibility of an Island, that's taking the concept that all change is bad, which, Houellebecq could be accused of that as the reactionary. I think somebody who's dealing with him in bad faith, even good faith, could say, well, he views any change. He wants to go back to this time when blah, 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 blah. We hear it all the time, whether it's about Houellebecq or not. He's kind of, this is like kind of toying with the idea of, can we ever actually do that? And the answer in Possibility of Island is no, we cannot.
He's always Houellebecq will make broader cultural points, but he always has he has like a permanent crisis of conscience where he can't see anything outside of individuality and entropy, and
Yeah.
he can't get out of it.
Right.
Like he can't get out of it. He wants to be part of, like a collective society, but he personally can't break out of it, and it colors every bit of his work. And Possibility of an Island is kind of like I mean, that's the archetype of that, but it's sprinkled in heavily through all of his works, especially this one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just like again, I think I respect this book a lot as a blueprint. Like, it's a lot of author. I mean, shows authors get better as they get older. I mean, they just do for the most
Yeah.
part. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, there's people who wrongfully accuse Bret Easton Ellis of like peaking when he was young, and I don't think that's
Oh,
true. It's not true
Uh-huh.
at all. The
No, the
Shards book,
Shards is
no.
his best
Yeah.
the
book.
Shards is incredible. Like you're just like, holy crap, this is like. I mean, I prefer people do it on audio. I think it's meant for audio. I
Yeah,
don't believe
yeah,
it's meant to be read in a novel form. It wasn't his intention
yeah.
when he was writing it. So,
Hmm.
but like these guys do get better because one, life happens to you, and also you're able to zoom out. And now, Doug, you brought this up a little bit in terms of like zooming out the nature documentary of this
Mm.
novel aspect of it, like David Attenborough describing one animal versus another, and then perhaps they meet in the wild. You know what I'm saying? But it feels like he's very far away,
Yeah.
yeah, from his characters. I don't know if that's true, but that's the way I read it.
Yeah, that first third of the book where he's describing their childhood, it's like a Nat Geo documentary.
Yeah,
Especially with Bruno, like Bruno in the dorms. It's totally like these guys are hitting sexual maturity and they're just establishing dominance and like torturing torturing the weaker ones. Yeah, it's really striking. Obviously moves away from it once you get to once they're adults and they actually have lives, but it's like it's totally just like watching lions eating gazelle in the
yeah.
wild for that first third.
I think you're completely right, and there's certain aspects of that, and I think Michel is constantly studying nature, constantly studying things that aren't just humans. And now Michel does not believe in God. I think one thing that saves a lot of people when you believe in God is that God gave humans nuance, which can ruin humans and can help humans. We have the ability to just go, I don't have to tear that gazelle's head off right now if I want to live tomorrow. Like you don't. We don't have to like hit something over the head with a rock to make sure like we don't have to do that on a case by case basis. We can be different. We can be different than the person next to us. Like we can, have different personality traits and not, for the most part, be swallowed alive. Now, Welbeck might disagree with me a little bit there because he goes, well, these guys are a little different and they don't ever really get out of their mode a little bit, except for maybe a few aesthetic changes in Bruno's quality. But Michel was constantly going to this nature aspect. I think he's outright watching nature documentaries a lot of times.
Mm.
Well, the
And
whole
Yeah.
and he's looking at this to go, wait, the world is so brutal. This is why. But really, it's like we're humans. It is different. Like I don't like the idea of like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a Joe Rogan apologist, of course, but like when he'll always be like, look at this bear tear off the
Right.
head of a snake and stuff, and it's like yeah, we have aspects of us that like where we need to be cutthroat, where we need to be doing this and on a grand scale of things. But for the most part, like we do have the gift and the curse of nuance. And I think Michel, as a scientist, it's really hard to value nuance.
Well,
Yeah.
Welbeck's
Yeah.
weird because he's like an atheist who believes in the soul or something like that.
He
And
believes in
like I
God,
think
though. He believes in God.
yeah.
Hmm.
And like Michelle is like he's like an evolved human who doesn't have a soul, which is his problem kind of thing. Whereas like Bruno, if he just doesn't have a good connection with his, but yeah, the whole thing's like written like it's like a history book that's like annotated because it'll just
Yeah.
be like periodically like
Right.
oh in Hubsay Jack in his paper on this, and then there's like all the stuff where it like zooms in and out on different levels. Like it'll get to like
Hmm.
microscopic levels. Like there's one bit where I highlighted was like the now decomposed cadaver becomes a host to Arcadiae, which absorbed the last traces of residual moisture. Desiccated and mummified, the corpse still harbors parasites, the larvae of beetles, Aglossa cuprealis and Tiniola bacillilea maggots, which complete the cycle. And I feel like that's kind of like sort of he was before that talking about like stages of society and stuff and decay. So I feel like he's like sort of just constantly like overlaying these different like nature analogies to like human society as just like this singular organism, and then but then later and there's also the stuff about the waves, like you can be an individual with like individuality, or you're a part of history. So that's like the particle versus the wave kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's doing something like clever. Like I'm sure he's like been reading a lot about quantum physics, and he obviously reads philosophy and all of that. Like so, he's sort of like weaving it in a nice way where you can sort of ignore it and still enjoy the like story. But then like if you like want to spaz out on it, you can get like hung up on these little details.
Yeah. And spazzing out over little details kind of is where everybody is right now. That's the sad
Yeah.
part. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of sad how there's so many more of these types of people now, just from the sake of being on the internet. And I know it's kind of like this cop out thing, oh, the internet, but it is like it's just people. The other day they analyzed girls' wrists. Dude, what are you, Ray Charles? Like
Right,
fucking
yeah.
like you see that like and it's like that
Yeah.
in no other world would you see that, no other time.
Well,
Yeah.
it's very the whole thing's very morbid, like in a
Yeah.
bad way.
Yeah.
I going back to like saline, like Orwell distinguished saline with who's the American who went to Henry Miller,
Yeah.
and how they approached like saline, and I'll lump in Welbeck with this as well, as like that sort of like French pessimism, um, of like dealing with like the negative aspects of life versus like Henry Miller, who saw that as a sort of like he's Henry Miller's a very like Emily in Paris like optimist
Yeah,
of
he
like,
definitely.
yeah, like the lower and like the more depraved you get, almost like the closer you get to God.
Yeah.
Like he had a sort of like spiritual sense of like depravity
Yeah,
that's
and I'm smart. I'll be all right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but
It'll work
that's
out. Yeah.
it's a very like a what do you want to call, like, anti-morbid position on Henry Miller's side, and
Yeah,
that's where like when Welbeck, I think he's like morally correct about like aging and stuff, but it does feel like in some of his writing that he is a bit preoccupied with it in a way that's like, it's like, dude, it's not it's not just the human body in the material realm. Like I think he himself is a bit locked in the material in a way that he doesn't have a sort of I align more with like the Henry Miller way of thinking, where it's like
yeah,
that sort of like French pessimism is just really it's a bit of a
Annoying.
dead end.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's deeply.
Yeah.
And I will say, Ryan, did you read Annihilation?
No,
I think he got over the hurdle a little
he
bit.
got over it.
Yeah,
he did.
I think
Yeah.
that book is literally about that. Like
Sick.
in a way of kind of just being like, yeah, you die, it's fine. Like you die in your mouth, you get horrible mouth cancer and your mouth falling apart, like and it happens,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
make sure you're not alone when it happens. Like that's literally like what it's about. And Henry Miller is funny because like Henry Miller is deeply American, which is funny if like
Yeah.
nobody really tells you that until you pick up his book. Like you think he's this like Francophile American or something, or
Yeah.
this
No,
like,
he's
oh, I'm
no.
trapped in the
Yeah.
confines of the West. Like you think he's one of those guys, and he's like, no, I'm bringing the West to these fucking Europores,
Yeah.
and
No,
I'm,
dude,
dude,
yeah.
we're gonna tear shit up over here. And everyone's like, he's like, dude, you guys are like covered in bugs over here. What's the big deal? You know,
Right.
what is
Henry
your
Miller,
problem?
American
Yeah.
imperialist.
He's like, there's free pussy over there. You guys are just crying in your house,
Dude, it's like, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That like Motley Crue like spaghetti incident, like, you know what I'm
Yes.
talking about? Like to
Yes.
see how gross they can get, and like as a sort of like fun challenge. It's like Henry Miller. It's like, dude, let's see how many like blowjobs I can get
Yeah.
without taking a shower. That's funny.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah. It just Henry Miller is a
Yeah.
deeply American person. I think Welbeck over time. I mean, the problem is he went to Ireland, which is like if you're trying to improve morale, don't go to Ireland. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna get a different form of pessimism, and it's gonna be turned more inward and sulky rather than about
Yeah,
society.
yeah.
You're gonna get the Joycean elements of it. Like so, I kind of wish I do wish Welbeck lived on like in like New York for a little bit or
Or he
something.
came down here.
Yeah,
He was just
something.
on the
Yeah.
Gold Coast.
There you go. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
dude.
true. Just somewhere else, like for a little bit, and maybe he did. I think he's a little more private than we tend to know about, and I don't know. Jack, what do you think about this? We haven't heard from you in a while. What do you think about all this?
I'm honestly, people are getting to the punch a lot faster than me. I mean, I pretty much agree with everything. I will also say, Michel Houellebecq, if you come to Dixie, you can stay with me. It's all good.
Dude. Dude, I would love that. The problem is you would be such a sweetheart. Your fate would be bad. I feel like because you'd be like his lovable friend. He'd be his lovable friend. You'd be like, oh no, he likes this guy too much. What's gonna happen?
Oh, no, yeah.
Not our
On
sport.
that note, Houellebecq, I'll kick you to the curb.
Yeah. You may not stay with me. Actually, no, you know, because it'd be like
Motel 6.
it would be like his boy again. The name can never remember the names, but the boy, the guy, the just the absolute freedom fighter farmer from Serotonin.
Yeah.
It's
Wasn't he
just
also named Bruno?
Alaric? No.
no.
Okay.
No, gosh, why can't I remember? It's a one-off name that I marry. Yeah, he was great.
Oh yeah, it was some French name.
Just
Okay.
you like love that guy. And to be honest, he died like a Mel Gibson death. Like so it was kind of sick.
yeah.
Like he doesn't get like ass cancer or something, or like like died,
No,
shit his pants. Then the coroners found him and he shit his pants 5 times. It's a record. Like they don't do stuff like that. Like Houellebecq was really mean a lot of times, but like at least he gave Imeric like just an absolute patriot death.
Yeah.
That is one thing about like the earlier Houellebecq is that like he's hateful in a way that like he grows out of. Like I think this is the line actually, like because platform, like there's some brutality for sure, but like this like whatever is he's like pissed off, he's hateful, like it's great. But it's totally different than anything after this.
You know what it reminds me of, and this is a problem I struggle with. You ever like hang out with somebody who just says like the wrong word all the time and doesn't correct themselves, and you're just like, after a while, you're like, I think me making a big deal out of it is what sucks more than anything. You're like, I'm not gonna correct the guy who says, instead of McCaffrey, says McCafferty every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't need to do that. And I feel like Houellebecq after a while is like, by annihilation, you're like, the leftist girl journalist sucks. That's it. You know what I mean? Like only her. Get her out of the picture. Everybody else, chill. Like you feel like in Annihilation, his wife, which by all in terms of all Houellebecq formulas for characters, his wife should have had something like horrible happen to her. After the time they rekindle, after they start sleeping in the same bedroom again and stuff, you're like, uh-oh, what's gonna happen? No, she's a saint till the end. She's sucking him off while he's like dying. Like it's like leaving Las Vegas. It's kind of sick. And like trying to revive, something perhaps, like or just something like that. He really softened up, and I think I'm so glad. This was not by intent. This was just like, well, this is the way we're going. Yeah. He comes out with a new book. Let's go from there. And then I'm like, no, this makes a lot of sense, because if you went the other way, I don't know that you would notice it as much. Yeah, sure. Whereas like these times you're just kind of like, oh, I see, because you see the seeds being planted by each before. Like I said, I think I like Serotonin even more now after reading this book.
Dude, I love Serotonin.
It's good. It is good. Yeah. It is good. I think I was a little more critical of it than I should have been, I think.
Well, it's funny reading this now, like you're saying. I'm happy I didn't read this when I was younger, because it does sort of have like a young, pissy attitude to it, and he does like progressively over time become more of like a Larry David curmudgeon.
Yes,
his tone has just much more sense of humor about it.
Better Business Bureau boomer, like
Elementary Particles is a book that'll ruin a 16-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
But dude, I would
have been such a little asshole if I read this back in the day and like talking to my grandma at the dinner table, like, you guys, Jimi Hendrix, you guys, birth control pill, you fucking ruined everything.
Yeah, no, and I'm actually glad that I probably physically would not have been able to pick up the book and read it when I was 16. I was like on drugs watching Fight Club, like things like that. Like, I was like that, which again has its own things, right? But I was just like, I'm just glad that I would have got 2 cents into the gay, like I would just put it down. I'm glad I was not a little art fag as a kid. Like I still am not one, but I definitely lean to like, I'm more sympathetic to that as I get older. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I'm glad that I would have had
dignified elder art fag is a much better place to be in,
the art
psychologically.
The old troon versus the actual troon.
No, this one does seem like the most like dirtbag left, as far as like, if anyone like want to throw on like the word like late stage capitalism kind of shit, it's like this is most conducive to that sort of.
He is a communist still during this book. He is a communist during this book. Like platform too. He's constantly talking about that shit. Like,
Yeah.
and then it just like after submission, he's like, "Fuck the left." Like, he's like,
Yeah.
you guys." I mean, he had
Right.
what a lot of people get to is like finding out collectivism just is just not real. Like, and
Yeah.
I think I don't think he necessarily writes these books knowing that collectivism is real, but I think he's just like, well, if we just tweak a couple things,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
yeah, if we stop
Yeah.
doing this, stop doing that, this would work. He will then go in submission. He was like, no, here's the thing: if you guys get you guys are just the same as anybody else. You will play the game. If you get X, you will get rid of Y. Like you will do all. That's why submission, I think, is just so powerful. It's such a powerful book. Is the way the left caves a lot of times
Right.
on like
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
like actually, to be honest, if the people could say whatever they will about the left right now, if they stayed actually strong, they could have ruined the whole thing.
Right.
The whole submission takeover. They could have been like, wait, college only for men? No.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
then and then like
Yeah.
they wouldn't have had the numbers, but they submit. So it's kind of
Right.
like Michel Houellebecq submits into individualism a little bit later as an author.
I think a really like annoying trope that both the dirtbag left and dirtbag right kind of take from this book, and by the way, those are just synonymous terms. The
Right.
dirtbag
Yeah.
left and dirtbag right.
We all know them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Repeat yourself.
Is this idea of like paradigms, that like there's a new paradigm that's
Yeah.
necessary, that like we moved from Christianity, now modern science isn't working, and now like who's that Russian philosopher that everybody was talking about for like a year?
Matt, what do you think?
Dugan.
Oh yeah.
And it was like that
Never
was
read
like
him.
his thing was like we need a new paradigm and shit, and like
I mean, this is what the Nazis did, basically.
yeah.
It just
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
keep repeating
all
the
you
same
need.
thing over and over.
I think the key to that, all of that, is philosophy. If you just get too entrenched in philosophy, you become black pilled on actual reality and white pilled on gobbledygook. So that's what I think.
And that's probably Houellebecq's
I
problem
tend to think
is-
the answer isn't like a new paradigm, whatever that even means, other than like in tranny future. Like
just
in this
buy a new
book.
shirt.
It's like like just be a normal Christian and
Get
just
a
go about your
haircut.
life.
Get
Get a haircut. Just try something different, and then you're like, I feel like a different guy now. This is great. Which in Elementary Particles, he fights against that. Bruno works out. Doesn't matter. Does this? Which I disagree. Like, it does matter. Like, you will.
Yeah,
like, Cy talks about it all the time. He's like, you will just become less of a libtard if you like work out a little bit. And
I think that's because
Houellebecq
Houellebecq never actually tried to work out. Like
No,
he
totally.
just thinks like he's like, well, if I tried that, it wouldn't work.
It would be like a toy, one of those Toy Story things where the arms just break off. Like,
Yeah.
Imagine if Houellebecq did no fap.
yeah.
Do a short.
I think
the
he would
entire
just-
universe
2
would
minutes of all
implode.
time.
He would just bust. Like, it would just happen without fapping. Like,
He'd have one of his like screaming, howling orgasms just without
like
a
spontaneous combustion, but with a screaming out orgasm.
in the new multicultural supermarket.
He's looking at a hummus. Ah!
Muslim Sam's Club.
Just
He's
like-
just busting.
Just like 80s Prince level, like Looney Tunes vat spilled everywhere. Yeah, just like, yeah. Oh man. Anything else, guys?
Squidward exploding with the Krabby Patty.
Yes.
I like how the end of the book says this book is dedicated to mankind.
Yeah.
Like the most bleakest, worst thing I've ever read.
I will say,
Yeah,
I'm
that
glad-
felt real pissy. Yeah.
It felt pissy. However, it's like, okay, that's the only he thought of that sentence before he started the book, so he's like, the book has to end with this sentence, and then I think I will say you exercise a bit of a demon when you put that down on paper. We could talk about the influence it has on
I think so.
on guys who like know what like Kazakhstan is and stuff, like you ever go on like the internet and people go, that's such a Balkan thing. You're like, just don't say that.
What does
ever.
that mean? Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
I'm a Russophile, and
Yeah.
I don't know what Balkan really means.
Yeah, people
I
will
vaguely
literally
know what it means, but I couldn't really.
Yeah, look at that
explain
Kazakh
it.
thing. Yeah, you'll see all these people that are doing like all the dumbest parts of like 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 the canthal tilt and all of these things, wrist analysis, all these like these dumb breeding things.
Everything east of Europe is either Russian or Chinese.
Yes,
that's it.
Yes. Sometimes you get in the middle, and I don't know what to tell you.
There's Indians down there; they're kind of funny, and that's about
There's
it.
like 2 billion Indians. but-
I think the Balkan. I'm not gonna pretend I like know what words mean, but I think the Balkan thing is just referring to the atomization. So the Balkan states have no national identity. They have nothing.
Yeah,
So
sure.
they get taken over. I don't know.
Yeah,
Ayn Rand
whenever I hear
essay
about like
it, and I read it once and it seemed to
whenever I
make
hear
sense.
I think
about
that
like
makes sense. Yeah.
the balkanization of the United States, I'm like, yeah, that's probably not good. I don't know what that is, but let's not
Yeah.
do that.
Okay, communist bullshit. How about that?
I
I
don't
have
want to
another
be
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
balkanized.
another word
Just
for
like
it.
how
Sounds like a bunch of
used to
fucking
be-
commie gobbledygook to me.
Yeah,
Used to be
Just
Yugoslavia,
like
and
there's
now
other
it's 12
ways to
different
get my
countries.
attention is what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
and like what I think again, I think Welbeck is like that. He exercised that aspect of it. However, the lasting effect of the book is somebody who's 28 picks it up. I'm not sorry. I felt like that's mean to Cody. I don't even think you did. I just said 28 because that was an age where I was at my worst. Is at 28 where I was just like,
Oh yeah.
it just sucked.
Not my worst, but I'm...
No, well, that's good because life begins at 30 for men. That people don't
Yeah,
realize
yeah,
this. Yeah. So you're
Here's
like,
to hoping.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
killing it. You're in the preseason still right now. It's
Dude,
good.
28,
A lot better.
28 kicks ass, dude. It's the start of the 30s, but
Okay, because
yeah.
28 was like the because like what was that? That was 2018 for me. Yeah,
Well,
that
it's
was a
like
rough
being
year.
like-
It's
That
like
was rough.
23 to
in,
28
like-
is the worst.
It's like being senior of high school of your 20s. you know?
Exactly, because we're stunted
Okay.
millennials, so it's like
Yeah.
you like it probably was just
everything's-
like and we talk about it, whereas boomers just don't talk about it. Like
I
they're
don't,
just like,
I don't feel the age physically yet, so that's nice.
yeah, no, that's not gonna happen
Yeah.
for a while. But like what I mean is like there will be somebody who will be that age who has experienced nothing in life, has just basically punted on every aspect of everything. They'll pick this book up and go, nothing's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah.
Welbeck's fault because I think at the end of the day there is a user responsibility when you read a
Yeah.
book to not make it your entire personality when you read it. Like you're just not like you're supposed to take things from books, read another one, take something from that, and just
You got to
be
read
like-
the terms and conditions.
be a fucking scavenger. Just go, no, don't need that, don't need that. Oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? And keep that. Whereas these people just go, this is my personality. Like I'm
Well,
gonna
people skip the read another one step. They just
Yeah.
read one book.
yeah.
Or like having
Right, yeah.
Or they
And
read.
I think
Pretend to have
people
read a
think-
lot of other books.
I think
Yes.
younger people think a book is true or something. Like they like read it and then they like the sardonic wit and the funniness, and then they go, well, I enjoy that, so that must mean I also accept the premise and all of that if they like the book. And then they
Right.
try to become like, you read Fight Club when you're 18 and you're just like, yeah, that's totally me or whatever, and like how do I whatever. But it's when you're older you're just kind of like, well, I enjoyed these aspects and stuff, but you've actually lived enough life to sort of like to
Right.
like know how to incorporate it into your being better.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I bet 15 years ago I would have loved On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I've never read it. I
Yeah.
bet I would have loved it. I don't know if I
Dude,
think I
I'm-
might have missed it.
I haven't read it
yeah,
either.
me
I'm,
too.
I'm hoping I'm hoping that one's good. Just because like it gets kind of hated on in the Catcher in
Yeah.
the Rye way as a sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
Bell
And Catcher in the
books.
Rye rules, by the
I
way.
love-
Like
dude,
that's
I
that's
love
an
that book so
excellent
much.
Yeah,
book.
and
It's
I
so
love
good.
road
Catcher-
movies. Like I love
Yeah.
like the on the road idea
Yeah.
of a story. So
And
like
San
I hope it's
Francisco,
good.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a San Francisco, like during the time when
Yeah.
like San Francisco was just on fire with like good
Yeah.
creativity. So I'm like, maybe I
Right.
should
Yeah.
read it,
I
but
suspect it's good.
I just think it's
I
gonna
think
have
it'll
like
hold up.
I think it's gonna have like I think it's like when we were doing the Godfather episode, I was watching the movie and I'm like, this is a great line. However, I've heard it 30 million times repackaged.
Right.
So it's not their fault, but it's just like
Right.
like there's a part in the Godfather where they're like, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's like everybody knows that line and everyone's
Yeah.
like said it in the most like retarded timing sense ever, and it just completely
That's a big part of
gone.
the reason why I've put off watching The Godfather so much.
Well, there's a million other lines that are like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
like still to this day, but then like you hear that, so that's kind of my fear about On the Road, but not. I think I might read it, and I like to read the Bay Area, legends and stuff, so I do want to do that, but I'm like, man, I think there's just a lot of people that pick this book up as their one fiction book. They go, I normally read philosophy, but I will read the Elementary Particles. I will dip my toe into fiction as though fiction needs you, like, and they will pick it up, and then they'll go, excellent. This is why because it kind of absolves you of responsibility. I've come to notice, like that book. This is a book that kind of
they
absolves
also
you.
read it as philosophy.
Yeah,
It
right.
kind of
right.
is. I feel like it kind of
Yeah.
is.
And
It's got all
I mean,
those
like it
dimensions,
is
yeah.
in the way that like all novels kind of are. This is
Mhm.
kind of an Ayn Rand point. But you read it in the same tone, in the same style, in the same dry, non-creative way that you read philosophy, and so it just kind of colors your taking in the information, taking in the story, and engaging with it as fiction.
Yeah.
It's kind of my take.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And they read it as like a total philosophy, like it's complete. Whereas, like, yeah, it is philosophy, but it's just like one small part of the whole picture. Whereas maybe it's all of it's all the philosophy they've ever read is that. So then they go, well, this is the whole like universe as it is, and like it must incorporate every aspect. But it's like, yeah, there's heaps of millions of exceptions, and yeah, I think it is just a fucking French bleak pessimistic way of thinking. Like it's
yeah.
yeah.
Because that's why he doesn't answer any questions about his books. I've come to realize, like, it's not
Welbeck
some.
doesn't.
Yeah, he never does. Like
Interesting.
I think like if you watch his interviews, like people will try to like dissect something and go, "What do you think?" And he's just like, and then he talks
the
about
David Lynch approach. It's great.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
fine. But I
Yeah.
also think he's just like, dude, I didn't write this to like teach. I didn't necessarily write this for you to like get something out of. This is just the way I was feeling.
Mhm.
You know, and like, yeah, maybe don't live your life this way. Like, it's definitely like you could view it as a warning for sure. Though I think with elementary particles, it kind of they don't leave you a way out to be like, well, if you do this, then you can avoid this. It's kind of like actually you can't avoid any of it because like Michel, one of the worst parts of the books is Michel he finally gets Annabelle. That's great, you know. And then they conceive a child, and the fucking doctor, Annabelle's doctor. I wanted to strangle him.
Oh yeah, that doctor. That's like,
It's
what
like
were
you
you
got.
thinking?
Why didn't you?
Yeah,
tell
you
me?
stupid
Why didn't
bitch.
Yeah, why didn't you
Yeah,
tell
you stupid
me?
bitch. What were you doing going off the pill?
Yeah.
Fucking look now, you got uterine cancer and yeah, and you're pregnant.
Yeah, because
Fucking-
even if Michelle
Yeah,
dies,
yeah.
if Michelle dies, but they're able to have that child, you know what I mean? Or if Annabelle dies or something, like there's kind of this okay, but that's still the route you could go or something like that. So it's just kind of like there's kind of this systemic like cloud that's just over every
Just like
aspect.
cutting off every exit.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah,
escape
yeah.
room. It's an escape room where
That's-
they're like where all the employees quit and you don't get out.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just yeah,
The
there's a
Welbeck
strike.
escape room.
Yeah, you went to an escape room and they all went on strike. You know,
Yeah.
like, you die, and they find you and you shit your pants 5 times. Yeah, that's what this book is. And again, I had more fun talking about it than I did reading it.
Yeah, it's so fucking dark, dude.
Oh, I appreciated the because this was like even before he shit on Islam, he like the shitting on Buddhism.
Yes.
Appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because like in the epilogue, it's like he says like was it Christianity, Judaism, and Islam were like all against this except for the Buddhists
Yeah.
who were
Right.
like yeah.
Well, they don't fight. That's their problem. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'd argue, you know, Christianity to agree doesn't fight that much, like, and probably should a little bit more nowadays. But back then, I think, especially in there was the case. But you have the Buddhist people, and I know if Sai was here, he'd have a well actually for me, and that's fine. I'd like to hear it, but I just know there's like every aspect of like Buddhism. I'll go like that sounds nice, you know, like there'll be like a thing they'll say, and I'll go, yeah, all right, you know what I mean?
I have
agree.
mostly positive
Yeah,
feelings
yeah.
about it in my head because of
Yeah.
Star Wars, but like
Yeah. But I mean, if you
That's
go,
it.
but if you know someone that goes, yeah, I became a Buddhist, you go, what?
oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
You're not
it's like-
Chinese.
Okay.
I just feel like white people in general weren't made
Well,
for
it kind of depends on
Buddhism,
how old they
like-
are.
Yeah.
If they're like 22, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But if
Because
they're
they-
like
Yeah, and Asian
30.
people be spazzing, so it's not
Yeah.
bad. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they do be like kamikaze, like that
Yeah,
Asian
yeah.
like nihilism. When that
Yeah.
takes the place, you're kind of like, all right, I get why you guys are like, let me go on the retreat. Let me go sleep in the little like Dostoevsky tomb, you know,
Yeah.
for like 3 weeks with my little orange robe, and I get it because like I like you'll hear teachings and you're like, yeah, all right, you know what I mean, like that makes sense. And then like, but again, like could you picture an entire country operating that way? No, they always get taken over because
yeah.
you don't, it doesn't get you up for anything. Like it'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess that's
I
what
mean, it's
happens.
right for communism because
Yeah, right.
we just all
Right.
become
Maybe there's
one,
something to the
you know.
Shinto Buddhism then, because the Japanese seem to be like the
Yeah.
ones.
Well, Japanese
doing
have
it
that
right.
dog in them.
I think it's that
Yeah.
like Buddhist. I mean, the samurai or like whatever like
Yeah.
thing. Of,
Yeah,
I don't
Vietnamese
know.
too. Like Vietnamese are the same way. Like they don't just you know, they're kind of ghetto a little bit sometimes, and like like they're just
yeah.
like
Scrappy.
it's tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll get scrappy about it and like be like, no, all right, put on the hat and let's go fucking jungle fight, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people like they just go to Buddhism to not feel anything anymore, right? Like that's what a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of
And
these things-
And just like as an escape from
Mhm.
Christianity, almost like the consequences that come along with that. Like,
Yeah.
The
Right.
accountability
Yeah.
of Christianity.
Yeah.
Christianity makes you accountable for things,
It
which
does.
people
mhm.
do
It
not like.
does.
Yeah.
And there is Christianity absolutely puts the consequences out there and go,
Mhm.
this is what happens.
Right.
And a lot of
Right.
people struggle with that.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of people who grew up like a sensitive person whose sensitivity has always been tiptoed around and never actually addressed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People are like, wait, there's a religion that like doesn't punish you for anything,
Mhm.
except at the beginning they just require you to do this. And now that being said, when the communists took over China, first of 5 million times, they just discarded Buddhism. So like they don't even like it. Like it's not
Yeah.
useful to anybody. Like you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like this thing. Like, but I get it if you're just one of those people that's like, yo, I'm down on my luck, and that sounded nice. And that really nice bald Chinese guy, he was nice. Like I
Yeah.
get that. I do get
Right.
that. Like
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's
I really
also like
think
the road to
can't
hell was paved is
yeah, you
paved with
can't
good
stay there.
intentions.
You
Yeah.
can't stay there.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
stay there. Nobody stays Buddha. Even the people convert to them, they
No.
don't stay there. Janice
No.
Soprano, you know what I mean? Like they don't
Right.
stay
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Like and it doesn't do enough to rid you. You don't rid yourself of a lot of the stuff you actually need to rid yourself of.
No.
It's a material. It's as though the problem is the materialism or the material aspect of it, and not this. Sometimes.
Mhm.
Right.
So
It's good for like creating like a nice ambiance in like your living room, have
yeah.
some like Buddhist statues and whatever, but
The
beyond
music's
that,
cool. I like some of the
it's
music
like
too, like the
Yeah.
little like ambient like Buddhist stuff is kind of fun. Like
Did you guys
Beyond
ever watch
like
that like
Yoga
Spike
music,
show?
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Did you guys ever watch that Spike TV show, Deadliest Warrior? You know what I'm
no,
talking about?
no.
It's very
I
that
know what
sounds
show you're
familiar.
talking about. I did not watch it though.
it's a very nerdy, weird show that I watched when I was like 13. And they had an episode about Shaolin monks, and they had these twin hooks that were really sick. And that's what I feel about Buddhism.
Yeah, like I get it. Like I'm just like hey, there's aspects of it where you're like, okay, like if you stay in Buddhism, it's kind of like the Trump thing. After a month, it's marginal, right? It's
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you still doing that,
Yeah, yeah.
after about a month of just like it's like I feel like it's a good way to hit like rock bottom. You know what I mean? Is like to just go
Dude, it's
Buddhist
like-
for a little bit, like and I don't even know if you have to
Yeah.
just call it capital B Buddhism. Just kind of like put on some nice sounds and just like detox yourself for a little bit.
It's for
Yeah.
massages. You rub the
Yeah.
Buddha belly before you hit the casino or
Hell
something.
yeah,
That,
dude.
that's
Hell
about
It's
it.
yeah.
like girls doing yoga is good. That's like the extent of why
Yeah.
Buddhism is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just turn
Yeah.
your brain off for a little bit. Just kind of let certain aspects take over. But if you stay there forever, you'll just be this shell of nothingness and kind of
Right.
evade consequence for the rest of your life. And what Houellebecq says there is that's fine if the mom didn't have any kids, no one would care. She had kids.
Right.
Mhm.
You have a
Yeah.
responsibility. Like you can't be that
Yeah.
forever. Like you can't just be this free love hippie person. Like you have a responsibility now. And you couple that with like Annabelle teen pregnancy being this like horrible thing, like just that can't happen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And she's seems like a very responsible woman, just kind of like caught up in modernity or something. But like you figure like Annabelle probably would have like handled it well. Like
yeah.
she
Yeah.
probably would have. She wouldn't have married the freaking psycho.
Well, she reminded me of speaking of Annihilation of what was her name in Annihilation? The sister. Celine?
yes. Yeah, with Hervé. Hervé as her husband.
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, she
Oh.
kind of reminded me of her, but like with a bleak ending. Whereas
Oh,
like
I love
here,
them.
she's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's why he got softer. He would have killed off the sister. He would have done so. Oh gosh, I'm so because it's just the stupid. No, by the way, I think Aymeric actually. I think we were wrong. Aymeric is the brother who hangs himself in Annihilation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Imeric, isn't he the one
Imeric
from
is in-
Serotonin?
Is that the
Yes,
one? I don't
he
know.
is.
It doesn't
No,
matter.
I have no
I mean,
idea.
it's from
Farmer.
Serotonin.
It really
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
the
just-
Chad from
always remembered-
Serotonin, the
Mhm.
farmer protester guy.
Yeah, the Patriot. Yeah, the Patriot.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Patriots in
absolutely.
control.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Yeah.
just they were well he was in control.
Sort of.
I mean, yeah. He ended it his way. Yeah. So I mean, you can't say he didn't have any control at that point because he lost all control and was like, "Fuck it, Mel Gibson or Mars Attacks, run with the flag." You know what I mean? Go
Yeah.
out like a savage, dude. So well, guys, thank you once again. Another great Houellebecq episode. If you liked this, there's 7 more of them, I think. I remember, like, there's all on the feed. They're very fun. I can't remember how many novels he has, but we only have one more to go. I am still excited about the Lovecraft thing. I actually do really want to read that. I think I think he has a good thesis about HP, so I will be excited to do that and pair it with some Lovecraft stories or something. And but coming up on Gain of Fiction, we've got an episode with Vander Jack on Flannery O'Connor's Wise Blood, where if you want some Christian content, we were talking about our boy JC pretty heavily there, and that was really nice. One of the most Christian novels I've ever read personally, like Wise Blood by Flannery O'Connor, which everybody thinks is a big joke on Christianity. It's not. It's a way to actually have faith without punishing yourself. It's a very, very, very wonderful book. The movie's great too. And also we have Song of Kali coming up by Dan Simmons.
Oh, hell yeah.
Speaking of Asian
Yeah.
shit.
Indians are wow. I mean, it's funny, you go on Goodreads and everyone's like, great story, but this is really racist. That's just what everyone says. And then you pick it up and you're like, you read it and you're like, yeah. You're like, no, it's not. That's not wrong.
It's not anti-racist.
Yeah, no, it is not. And Dan Simmons was talking, has like, apparently if you go on like Goodreads, his book's got like even more like schizo Facebook boomer, like Fox News boomer as they went, like where he's like, they're creating dead people to vote for Obama in my new book. Like, yeah, he didn't take that away. So we're gonna be talking about that. And eventually the Confederacy of Dunces episode, which I know a lot of people have been looking forward to. Definitely going to get that rolling. Thomas Pynchon's Vineland, which stinks, but we're going to be talking about that. And yeah, on that note, guys, everybody have a safe week, and we'll catch you guys next time.
See you, boys.
Yeah.
Good
All
seeing you
right,
guys.
fellas.
Yeah.